Your part as a coach who's new to the system, getting in there and looking around and figuring things out. We scrapped things we've been doing for 10 years and revamped everything. Terminology, how we were calling things, what we were calling them, what we were doing. And it certainly paid off for us. And again, really happy with the system and the results that we got. What is the Nzone system? Some people may differ in how they're adapting it. I'm not even sure Noel would agree with all this, but this is what we got out of the package. It's a multiple spread offense. We had the personnel to be in 4 spread receivers all the time this year. If you look at the UCLA film, at times they'll bring a tight end into the game. At times they'll bring in 2 halfbacks into the game. Sometimes, when Noel was at Arizona State, he'd bring a fullback type body into the game. So you can be very multiple in this spread package. We weren't. We kept the same 11 guys on the field all the time. I believe it's a pass-oriented offense that doesn't neglect the run. All right, Nzone run game is outstanding, and we were able to rush the football very well. We're a pass-first, run-second team, but you've got to be able to run the football if you're going to be successful. No huddle, fast tempo offense. Okay, we're a signal team. All right, we got that from Noel. You want to be a signal team as opposed to a wristband team. The wristbands slow things down. Being a signal team allowed us to go at a tremendously fast pace. We were trying to get a play run every 15 seconds. That was our goal from the time the whistle blew till the next snap. It was 15 seconds. And there were times we were 10, 8, 12 seconds. When things aren't going well, sometimes you slow down a little bit, but for the most part, we were very fast in our tempo. We play kids both ways, like Coach talked about at Parkville. All right, we practice both sides of the ball. 55 minutes a day at Ramapo High School. Most of our better players have to play both ways. We're a medium-sized school in North Jersey, and guys ask me all the time, Coach, you got 2-way guys, aren't they tired? And absolutely, our guys get tired. But fortunately, our opponents are also 2-way guys. So we're tired, they're exhausted by the middle of the third quarter. So conditioning, because we're used to practicing at that fast pace, we're in better condition than most of the teams that play guys both ways. And in the second half, we're able to take advantage of that. One of the great features of the offense, all right, there's a lot of run-pass options in it. Every time I call a running... Almost every time we call a running play, it has a pass attached to it. The quarterback makes the decision to hand the ball off or throw the football. All right, he makes that decision on every play. We give him a set of parameters to follow, but he's the decision maker. He decides whether the run's the right play or the pass is the right play. Helps to have a smart guy at quarterback. We didn't necessarily have a real smart kid there. All right, had a hell of an arm, and he was very accurate and made plays for us. We got a kid coming up who has a much better grasp of the offense because he's a little more intelligent. Obviously, the smarter your quarterback, the better off you're going to be. And the thing that we found that's really neat about some of the things that the Nzone system does, attaching screens to different plays, maybe a drop back pass concept here and a screen over there, maybe a run here and a pass over there. The ability to combine the things your kids know how to do, all right, into a new concept or a new play. Like most spread teams, spreading the defense is very important. We were an inside zone team for many years, and our guys, we'd get 6-inch splits, maybe a foot splits. All right, we're still running the inside zone, end zone style, but now we're trying to get 3 feet. And we really think that spreading the line splits helps us a lot in our run game. Okay, gives our tailback creases to get through. All right. And when people want to run those max blitzes at you, it takes the edge blitzer and it gets them a lot further from the quarterback. And, we all know sometimes kids get hit as he's throwing the ball or just before he's throwing the ball. So if you can spread your offensive lineman out and force that free edge rusher to have to come a little bit farther, we think that helps us a lot in the passing game. So, that's kind of what we took from the system in studying it last year and getting ready for the season. We finished 10-2 this season. We averaged 35 points a game. Nate talked about our state final. We ran 105 offensive plays in the state final. All right, that was what our tempo allowed us to do. We were able to be, get a lot of plays run. We threw the ball 56% of the time. We ran it 44%. We did have a very efficient quarterback. He completed 65% of his passes and 30 touchdowns, and we ran the ball for a 5.1 yard average. So we're pass oriented, but we're running the ball. We're a little bit over 50% in the pass game. These are, I'll call these some Noleisms here. These are the things that Noel preached to us last year as we clinicked with him and followed him around Northeast here for a week. You got to play fast. All right, everything in the end zone system is about playing fast. How are you going to play fast? You need to be simple. All right, you can't have a lot of line calls, a lot of checks. If you're going to play fast, you got to be able to call a play and get it run. All right, you got to be somewhat simple. Now, 28 plays per game. That's how many different calls we try to go into a game in. All right, we try to have 28 different plays so that we can, get plenty of practice at those. We never want to be over that, and that's sometimes hard. I went back and looked at some of my old play sheets, and 12 years ago when I started, we had play sheets that were around 30, 35, 40 plays. All of a sudden, you stay in the same offense and you say, well, we need this, that, the other thing, and 10 years later we got 65 plays going into a game, and that was just way too many. 28 plays per game lets you play fast. The run pass options and combo plays, all right, now one play is a pass and a run, so you get more bang for your buck there when you combine run and pass concepts into one play. All right, the run pass options let us be simple and multiple at the same time. Play the next play, all right, in your practice tempo and on game day. If you're a no huddle offense, okay, but in practice you're going to stop practice for 30 seconds to yell at the right guard when he misses his assignment, well, then you're no longer practicing being a tempo team, okay? Now everything stops, and now you're not practicing effectively. If you're going to be a fast-paced, no-huddle offense, you better have a session of practice all the time where you're practicing at a fast pace and you're practicing no-huddle, all right? I'm one of those real anal guys. We have offensive practice, and we want to run against a certain front, and well, the 3 technique better be in a 3 technique when we're running our zone play there. Well, if he's not, well, stop the play, and there goes another 15, 20, 30 seconds of practice. Can't do that. Get up on the ball, run the play. Get up on the ball, run the next play. What happens is when we're running at such a fast tempo, a lot of times the defense isn't lined up right anyway, and your kids have to be able to react to that.
Coach, how do you correct your offensive guy who makes a mistake during practice? When do you do it?
Well, we film practice. Okay, we try to watch that film the next day with the kids before practice. I ask the coaches at night to make notes on what their kids did incorrectly and come back and coach them the next day. So in the team session of practice, we're not going to stop at all. We're going to coach it after practice off the film. We're going to coach it the next day off the film. We try to have teach sessions before we get to the team situation. But one of the things that we found is our team period used to be a 20-minute long period. We were able to shorten that down because we're going to get more plays run in a shorter period of time. So our team period got shorter, gave us more teach segments during the regular practice session.
In the summer, what Noel does is he starts his summer camps with a team teach. He calls it team teach. And he goes, these are the concepts we're going to do. And for about 10 minutes, every position coach and everyone can be coaching their boys during that 10 minutes. And we're just kind of walking through. It's casual. It's not up tempo. We're just walking through what we're going to teach during the team period later on in the practice.
Right. You got to have your teach segments. You got to have your tempo segments. You got to have your review segments afterward. Either the next day or after practice to correct the things that went wrong. As a coach, you've got to get ready to play the next play. You've got to be ready to be a tempo coach. The kids will start expecting a play. They want to play within 7 seconds after the last one. If you're used to, yelling at the quarterback because he made a mistake or did something wrong, well, then you're not getting the next play in. You're not getting the next thing run. So we found it was very important that every team session in our practices, our coaching staff was practicing. I'm giving the plays to the signal caller's getting them in, and we as a staff had to get better at that.
Did you go on the sideline, coach, or would you be?
I'm on the sideline. My receiver coach, who's our signal guy, is next to me. Our defensive coordinator is setting the ball every play. our O-line coach and our running back coach are behind the offense. And that's how we structured our practice situation. You know, as a play caller, we have our scripts, and we're going to run the play and play it where the ball lies. So the challenge for me was I had to figure out which hash the ball went to and then which play I wanted to run off the script. You know, you have it with trips to the field is how you want it. Well, you know, you have to be able to adjust each play. And so that took, you know, that helped me able to do that, you know, game day consistently. So I was better on game day, getting the right call in, the right formation in. But if you're going to play fast, you really got to practice fast. You can't expect it to all of a sudden just happen on game day.
Coach, do you set up your game plan sheet based on the hashes, like left and right, so that you can just look at the right side of it and call play that way?
We set up our practice plan sheet with, you know, these are the 6 plays we're going to run. Noel calls them rolls. You're going to go 6 plays at a time down the field. Okay. We actually go 6 plays down, then 6 plays back with our first group. We put our second offense in, 6 plays down, 6 plays back with our second offense, and then the first offense goes back in, 6 plays down, 6 plays back. So we're going to get 24 plays with the 1s and 12 plays with the 2s in a team, generally during the week team period.
Right, I'm saying, do you have it based on a hash?
So the first call, it's, you know, tight end right, tight end left, basically, and then I got to pick the side where I want it. So, and then I don't know. The problem is the quarterback could hand it off on inside zone and it could stay on the right, or he could throw the key out there and it could stay on the left. So then I got to decide when I have that next play, well, where am I putting the Y, where am I putting my formation? So that's the challenge you have as a play caller. You don't know in this offense what hash the ball is going to end up on based on the fact that the quarterback is the guy making the decision as to who's getting it, not you.
So Coach, candidly, you're coaching yourself and getting yourself better at the same time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because calling plays every 12 seconds is not easy. You know, it's something you as a coach have to get better at. And you know, we as a staff improved at it as the season went on. But I think that's important that you don't all of a sudden expect the tempo to happen on game day if you're not practicing it consistently all the time. Fix the problem. Okay. That's one of Noel's big, you know, coaching terms. You got to fix the problem. You got to be able to fix problems in your scheme, okay? And that's what we spending our off season up at Ramapo High School doing, studying what we did. Were there things that, from a scheme perspective, gave us trouble, things we couldn't handle? You got to fix those problems. Try to fix them on Monday night, on Sunday before the game, rather than trying to fix them after the game. You know, we try to anticipate the problems, see what they're going to be. But even on game day, you've got to be able to fix the problems. That's your job as a coach. Fix the schemes, fix the play call, fix the techniques. The one problem we haven't been able to fix is, hey, if those guys are a whole lot better than yours, you know, I don't have answers for those problems. But if your kids aren't performing, you know, what are you doing? Is it the technique that you're teaching? You're doing too much. You're not spending enough time on it. All right, as coaches, we've got to fix the problems for our players. Another Noelism. Protect your concepts, okay? Meaning you've got to have something that protects or takes care of whatever the defense is trying to do to stop you, all right? We say at Ramapo that 4 verticals protects everything, all right? In our end zone offense, we run inside zone, we throw a lot of screens to the perimeter, okay? What's the defense going to do? They're going to creep everybody up to the ball, all right? They're going to creep up to stop the inside run. They're going to creep up on your outside guys to take away your screen game. So what do we think? We think you have to be able to execute 4 verticals. You have to force the defense to defend 4 verticals, all right? They better be scared of that play. They better be sitting up thinking, how are we going to stop this play, all right? That's got to be one of their main concerns, all right? Our key screens protect our zone read. So, you know, we're running zone read inside. We've got a screen out there. If you don't cover that key screen, our quarterback's going to throw it. All right, that keeps the defense from loading up the box. We have what we call locks that protect our key screens. So you have your fake key screen with a receiver running down the field. Potential big play touchdown all the time. And even if you don't get a touchdown out of it, what have you done? Well, you've slowed those guys up from attacking your key screens. We have a route called 94 that protects our key 2. We love key screen with a slant in behind it, and we can run that out of a 3 receiver set or a 2 receiver set. But we feel that's excellent when teams are starting to press our number 2 receiver. And then the play I'm going to talk about in a couple seconds, our pop protects our shark play. And that's our run-pass combination. Again, just going real quickly to the things that Noel sold us on and we sell our players, all right? Our big three is tempo, toughness, and finish, all right? If you're going to throw the ball more than half the time, you better preach toughness to your kids. You don't want to become a soft offense. You don't want to become, a dink and dunk offense. We think you need to continue to preach toughness. If you're a two-way team, you have to be able to stop the run. You have to preach toughness to your kids, okay? And obviously finish, right? We talk about finishing blocks, finishing runs, finishing plays, scoring points is how we finish on offense. So one of the plays that a lot of the guys who have been on the system a while have asked me about is our shark play, which is our stretch. So we're going to take a few minutes and go over that right now. All right, what is shark? Shark is an outside stretch run, okay, with a pass option on the backside attached. We pull uncovered linemen, and as it says, we read the backside linebacker for a pop pass. Here's the base defense that it was designed to attack. All right, we need to be able to force people into a two-deep coverage. If you're a passing team, most people will try to get into, or many people will get into a two-deep coverage, all right, two safeties to try to take away your pass game. All right, problem is now we can create a mismatch here in the box. So what happens for us, the formation is trio right. We have a Y, an F, and a Z on the right, an X on the left, okay? Shark odd is the play for the inside guys, which is our stretch left, and Y pop is the pass that is attached to the play, okay? One of the things that we learned and we felt was very important, your Z and your X are really your right and left receivers, okay? Because if you're going to be a tempo team, you can't have these guys running across the field 40 yards every time you want to change formations from right to left. So our guy has to know, I'm the right wide receiver. When I'm with the Y, I play the Z, I get off the ball. If I'm away from the Y, I'm on the ball and on the X. If the Y were on this side, then the left wide receiver becomes the Z and the right wide receiver becomes the X. We build formations with the Y and the F.
Coach, and you and I talked about this the other day. Noel sometimes has that Y off the ball. Sometimes he has it on, and we said there's not always a rhyme or reason to it. Do you keep it consistent like this?
We do, okay? We have the Y on the ball. That player is always on the ball. The F is always off the ball, and that's just the way we chose to communicate it. I know when I first started watching the system last year, anything that was 3 and 1, Noel calls trio, but guys can be in many different spots there. He coaches that based on play. We wanted to be consistent in the formation.
So where should I put my stud? I have a stud.
What kind of stud?
He's a big physical receiver, but he's the kind of kid that I'd like to run the jet to and run those key screens to.
If he's a guy that runs the ball a lot, we want him to be the F.
Okay.
Generally, this is our fast guy that we want to run with the ball. This is our bigger inside receiver, and then the outside guys, for us, average-sized kids, decent speed, run good routes type of players.
But I've also seen Noel use, this is the first time he's got that big 48 kid who's...
Foria, right?
Yeah. The 6'9" kid, but before, he put fast guys at his Y too. So if you don't have the big tight end, he'd run that, Y cross and caddy and some things with a quick Y. So don't feel like you can't, if you don't got the big, tough tight end,
right.
Put the fast kid in at Y too.
The kid at Arizona State was fast and tall. I would say for us, the things we like to do, I'd like the Y to be a little taller. That's the one thing I would say, just because he works more middle stuff for us. So the play gets signaled in. Okay, the receivers get the signal from the sideline. The quarterback gets the signal, relays it to the offensive line.
Coach, how'd you signal it in? Can you just tell us what the signal was?
Yeah, this is trio right.
Okay.
Shark, odd, Y pop. That was the signal. So it was really quick. Trio right, everybody knew where to line up. Shark, odd. Okay, odd is cold. So rubbing your hands together, you're cold. All right, even would be hot. We didn't have a signal for the even. Even was, every play was considered even unless we made the odd signal. So this play, trio right, okay, shark odd, and we give the pop sign here. Okay, now, who needed to know that? The lineman got the call, shark odd, the quarterback would say that. These receivers on the right, they'd get pop from the quarterback, and over this receiver would get shark, and we were ready to go.
Oh, so the quarterback's yelling shark odd, shark odd?
He's telling the offensive line, because they're not going to, we don't have them looking over at the signals.
Okay.
They have enough trouble getting up to the ball for the next play. So the quarterback communicates verbally to the O-line.
Coach, question for the difference between having a loud stadium and obviously a high school game where it's not that loud. Is the quarterback walking up to the line and talking over the lineman, which I've seen, or do you actually just have them shout it out?
We have them shouted out. It wasn't a problem. You know, we probably had 5,000, you know, at Kane University for our final, and it wasn't a problem. We didn't have much communication. If it became a problem, we'd have them walk up and shout it.
And by the third, fourth quarter, that's not a problem with defensive lineman or linebacker saying, okay, I know what shark is now.
You know, because, well, you know what shark is, so one time it went over there, the next time we threw it behind you, and you're trying to get the call from your defensive coordinator who wants to get fancy, so he wants to be able to blitz and do all those things, and then you're scrambling to get lined up. So we didn't think it was a problem. Our kids, you know.
Cut you off. To answer this question, it's more like all those calls don't matter because tempo.
Right.
You're there 12 seconds, all that yipping and screaming across the thing is we running the play.
I know, asking Noel the same question. His answer was he plays against the UCLA defense or the Arizona State defense every day during spring ball. And he would ask his defensive kids, you know, do you know what we're doing? He says, and the answer is always no, coach. We're just trying to get lined up and, you know, do what we have to do. Some coaches change it up a little. You can change up your odd and even, you know, hot, cold, big, small, north, south. Bobby Acosta uses true and false down at TCNJ. Sometimes Noel will call his plays by number. So the inside zone, the Zorro is 12 and 13, 12 being even, 13 being odd. So you can add a little bit of other switch-ups if you feel it's necessary. You know, maybe you played a team, you know, 3-4 years in a row. You might make some subtle changes, but we certainly didn't find it to be an issue at all. So with this play, our backside guys are going to block on, and this is what a lot of people try to do to a spread offense. They want to put the 3 technique to the tailback. You know, they think that makes it tougher on the inside zone. So for us, shark is a great complement to the inside zone play. We're going to block these 2 guys on. Okay, he's got a 1 technique. He's going to block that on. We're going to wrap the center around for the will. We're going to tight zone drive the play side defensive end here. Okay, it's not a true reach block. Okay, what we don't want to have happen is this kid stepping wide and get beaten back door. All right, this end is coached. All right, don't get reached. Right, every end in America. All right, and that front is going to be coached. Don't get reached. All right, his coach is going to kill him if he gets reached. So we go with a tight zone drive, and we don't mind that kid just moving down the line of scrimmage like that. We don't want him to get any penetration up the field. Okay. We tell our O-line to put your nose on his outside number and fight like crazy to keep him on the line of scrimmage.
What's the split on the offensive line?
3 feet. We want to be big. Okay, we want to be big. Why do we like that? Because we think it forces you to declare what gap you're going to play, and we think that when we do run our inside zone play, now there's little gaps for our tailback to sneak through. You know, we're not a knock you off the ball offense. Our inside zone is going to end up as single blocks pretty quickly. But again, what we're trying to do in the inside zone game in the end zone system is create a little crease for our back to bust it through there. That's what we're attempting to do. So, quarterback, he's going to read this Mike linebacker on this play. He catches the football and his eyes go right there. If the Mike sits, he's going to hand the ball off. And we feel like we've got angles here. This guy contains, and 9 times out of 10, we bust this thing up in the B gap. If this guy gets knocked off the ball or we have a soft edge, our tailback can take the ball to the perimeter. The X receiver has most dangerous, so if the safety's deep, he's going to block the corner. Backside, the Z runs a fade route. F runs a key. We throw a lot of key screens, so we probably get some width out of this guy. And it was just a great play for us.
Coach, if that was inverted on that backside there to the single receiver side.
So if the
cornerback
safety's
safety
down,
walks up.
we would push crack the safety.
Okay.
We would push crack the safety. What we had to tell the quarterback was, we did it, the Mike linebacker stays on this side of the center, hand the ball off. If the Mike linebacker flows, that's when we want to throw the pop. Again, very effective play for us.
One step and throw it.
Catch, ride, come up and throw.
Fire it.
Get the ball off quickly. No, the issue the kid will see is sometimes if this linebacker attacks the line of scrimmage, okay, sometimes when this B gap is open, he may come. And boy, it looks great to throw the ball to the Y. Problem is you don't have a blocker there, okay? So now all of a sudden the linebacker jumps up, puts his hands up, now you're ready to throw it, now you have to throw it high, now it goes over the Y's head, gets picked by the safety, and then I'm yelling at the kid. So, again, we want to be hard and fast with that rule as much as we can. If the mic flows, throw the pop. If the mic sits or the mic blitzes, hand the ball off. Because if the mic blitzes, he's not going to tackle the tailback on stretch going that way.
You have a period in practice where you do this nonstop.
We do a 10-minute drill every Wednesday on the shark play. Okay, so here's another defense. So now we're probably running inside zone because the one technique is to the tailback side. But if we've got it called, again, if you're a tempo offense, I don't want to be checking a lot of plays, call it and get it run. So how would we handle it here? Here's that cover 4 look you talked about. We push crack the X. We reach both of these guys. We block the center back on the 1. We pull him either through the A gap or, depending on how head up this tackle is and how he plays, we might ask him to come around. Getting this guard to read this block on the tackle is a little bit of a challenge because sometimes he'll come up short and the ball may push out a little bit wider. Now, we run zone, we run this stretch play, and we run draw. Those were our runs. Noel Nzone at UCLA this year had a lot of success with doubling this 3 technique, kicking the guard out and running the ball in there. So Noel, I think when he runs the shark, he's going to block down on the tackle and wrap that guard on the Raider because it's a good complement to his other running play to the 3 technique. Since we're running a lot of zone, we felt like this was the right way to go for us. But you can block the front side either way, down and log, or you can reach both of those guys. We told our tailback if the end man on the line of scrimmage contains, you're going to put your foot up in the ground and get north and south. Okay, so what are some of the problems that can occur? This is a problem front in some ways for us. Okay, now it's a 1 high look, all right? Our inside blocking is the same, but now they've got this guy apexed between RY and the tackle. When there's a 4 down front, the quarterback is going to key the second linebacker for the pop. We have 1 puller, we can take care of the will. We can't block the mic. He's the second linebacker versus 4 down, so he's the pop. But there's a man apexed between RY and the pop, so it's going to be tough to get there. All right? So if we're seeing a lot of this front, this play is not a primary play for us. We don't like this play versus this apex. We would call an inside zone with a key 2. All right? Feeling that, okay, he's apexed, we can crack here, kick the Y, throw the bubble out to F and go. Once we throw enough key 2 to get this kid to at least head up, now we can come back and run our shark play. I have another answer. If we want to force the shark, and I'll show you that slide in a minute, we can run the Y on a vertical to try to get the Sam to wall him off and then bring the F underneath on the pop. That was very effective for us in 1 ball game. It was just a minor change-up. It was nothing new for the fat guys. It was nothing new for the quarterback. All we did was say, Y, you go vertical. F, you come underneath the Y, you catch the pop. And we took Z on a 6-yard in route because we thought that complemented it a little better.
Do you guys call the mic every play?
We do not.
Okay, so it's the quarterback's responsibility.
He's counting linebackers. 4 down, the pop is the second backer. 3 down, the pop is the third backer. So here's the 3 down look. 3 down, both guards are uncovered. Both guards can pull. We're going to handle those two guys, 1, 2, 3. We're going to pop the third linebacker. It's really not complicated stuff, man. It's pretty easy for our guys. You know, both of my guards were special ed kids. They seem to get it pretty good. We had a lot of success. So one thing that will happen sometimes, if this end really contains hard, this guard, we use a skip pull technique with both guards. So he may get a little depth, try to get around the horn, decide he can't, and just come straight up on that will. He doesn't have to go around the horn every time.
Coach, is that a square pull on that?
Yes. Yeah, square skip pull. Not sure why I put this one and how much different it is. Now they click down to cover 3. Now you've got that issue again. 1, 2, 3 linebackers with a 3 down. So now it's going to be tough to pop the Sam. Not a great call for us here. We'd rather be in key 2 unless we've got him head up and then we can get there, or we go F pop. That's our change up when we get that particular front.
So would you go trio right, shark, odd, key 2?
We would go trio right, shark odd, Zorro odd, key 2. We throw the keys off the Zorro.
Zorro, okay.
Yep, that works for us.
Okay.
Okay, here if we get the blitzer, so now they want to roll the coverage, so they want to bring a 4th rusher from the strength. The play's gold because there's nobody between the Y and the pop linebacker. 3 down, count your linebackers, 1, 2, 3. Zone blitz strong, depends on what that Sam does. Okay, so now this is America's blitz coming from the strong side. What's that Sam going to do when he gets that? Usually this guy is a dropper. All right, we see some 3-3 zone blitz up by us. They got to put him out here. He's a read 2 player. The Sam is the middle player, and this R is probably going to drop off there. Well, what does that Sam do when the tailback goes? If the Sam goes when the tailback goes, we hit the pop. If the Sam sits backside, then we think we still got a pretty good play out the front side there. And we played the #1 team in the state of New Jersey this year, St. Joseph's Regional. They ran this blitz against us a few times because we had some success with Shark. So they brought the zone blitz off the 1 receiver side. Problem was now they had a dropping D lineman trying to cover our Y on the pop. That was a win for us. So, there's zone blitz in here. Our quarterback sees nobody under the pop, throw the football.
So he knew that right away because the mic's already moved over.
The mic's over.
He knows he's looking pop off the snap.
In the end zone offense, and one of the things that kept me, for 11 years, I had to have a tight end in the game all the time. It was like wearing my underwear. I could not did not run our offense without a tight end because I was always so concerned, we were a zone team, about running zone when that end spiked inside and they brought a blitzer off the edge. If I didn't have a tight end to handle him, I was very concerned on our inside zone play. The end zone system takes care of that. All right, we have a rule for our play side tackle. Okay, whenever he's covered and he's got an edge blitzer, he makes an alert call. Okay, play side tackles are up in a 2-point stance. There's a man on me and a man outside me. I am on the front side. I say alert, alert, alert. If it were zone, the center would answer, the alert call came from here, he'd answer west, and we'd all push the zone 1 man to the west. So now that if it was zone, the tackle would come out, the guard would come out, the center would come out, we'd all push front side. Now, it was great. It's great against when we run our zone, our Zorro play. It's great when our drop back pass protection. It helps us. All right. On the Shark play, he says alert, 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 and the answer he gets inside is kick now. We've told that front side guard, that pulling guard, you're going to get a blitzer off the edge, so you better be ready to kick it now. So in zone and pass pro, we get an alert call. The answer is west. We're going to push the zone. We're going to push the pass protection or slide it to the left. In Shark, the answer to alert is kick, kick, kick. And now we know that our guard understands that, hey, I'm going to have to kick this guy out right now.
Coach, I wouldn't imagine you guys would see a lot of that with the amount of key screens you run, right?
We only saw a little bit of it. It wasn't, no.
Looking at that going, that's, you run Zorro odd key 2 there, then they're hosed.
Yep. We ran this play. The one time they brought the zone blitz from there, we ran this play, hit the Y for about 15 yards. Didn't see the blitz again in the game. Okay, this was how we handled Shark in 12 games. We called it 75 times. Out of those 75 times, 55 were handed off, okay, which is 73% of the time, and it was worth 4.4 yards a play. We threw it 20 times, all right, and it was worth 13.5 yards per play. We only completed 55% of these. Early in the season, we struggled with it a little bit. As we got good at it late in the season, we completed it almost all the time. The problem you would have at times, you have to make sure that this Y gets vertical as soon as he gets to the tackle box. If the Y continues to drift, now that linebacker flows a little bit but can kind of come back. And again, what happens is he forces the quarterback to throw the ball too high. So very important, take a sharp angle to the linebacker. When you hit that offensive tackle's original alignment, get vertical. And when we did that, it became very effective for us. Big yards per play because we hit a couple real big touchdowns off of it. Okay, so here you get a look. Here's our state final. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 down, it looks like. So the second linebacker is the pop. Now, they were playing us in a too high look, but doing what we call stealing. They were taking the backside safety and trying to steal the inside trip on that and basically kind of roll into a 3 once the ball was snapped. So we got the backside guard pulling on this one. This guard is pulling for the front side linebacker. We're reading him. This guy is splitting the difference between 2 and 3, so we've got a clear line to the pop backer there. You can see the quarterback's eyes. He's catching the ball. He's looking, but he knows that's where he wants to go. And bang, he hits it for a big play. There you see it from behind. We got number 4 to run.
So Sharkey aligns behind the back, aligns behind the tackle?
Yes. Yeah, we have different alignments, but when we're running Shark, he lines up behind the offensive tackle's inside leg, and we usually tell him toes at least even with the quarterback because you're coming in. Again, well, coach, they can pick that up when you're in that alignment, you're throwing it or running Shark, and when you're in your other alignment, you've got you're running zone. Well, we've got play action off our zone. We have a play action off of this, and we don't feel it's a problem, and it certainly didn't seem to be. Here's it against the 3 down front. And so we're running Shark, it's 4 down because this guy was a stand-up player up on the line of scrimmage. So 1, 2, he's the pop backer. You can see we have him lined up out here near the F, so the Y's got a clear line to the pop backer. This kid was a real plugger, about 5'11", 220, real smash in the face type of kid. But watch what he does. He doesn't have any idea what's going on. The quarterback's looking at him right now. He doesn't know what to do. His guard just pulled. He's standing in front of a guard, and the guard that he was standing in front of is pulling to the right, and the quarterback's looking at him. So he freezes his gap, and there goes the football.
He gave that one, right?
He gave this one to the tailback. You get a better look at it right there, okay? Right behind the official is the backside linebacker. Well, he's not flowing over the top. So since he's not flowing over the top, we're not going to throw the key. Your quarterback may tell you, yeah, but I could have stuck it in there. My guy tells me that all the time. I could have gotten it in there. But you key the linebacker. You're going to key the linebacker. So here, this guy looped inside to a 1, so our guard's got him. We're tight zone drive here. That linebacker's going to fill the B gap, number 9. All right, our backside guard's going to wall him. And now you got to be, as a tailback, you got to be ready to put your foot in the ground on this play. Yes, it's stretch, but you're putting your foot in the ground. Yes, absolutely. You want the tight shot? Yeah, that's a better look.
Quarterback fakes the throw after he hands it off.
Always.
That's good.
We call it the Brett Favre. I tell them, hey, you got to do the Brett Favre, fellas. After you hand the ball off, And I don't know if it's this one, but there's a play later where you'll see 37. It's actually the next play. The safety from St. Joe's, thinks we're throwing the football after it's been handed off. Again, this player, their Mike linebacker, one of their best football players, is not being blocked on this play. So if I'm not very good and I can get away with not blocking their best linebacker, that's a win for me. So here we're running the shark play to the bottom of the screen. Okay, they're in a too high look. The safety was trying to disguise. I think he was trying to show one and come to two. We got 4 down. So there's the first backer. We can block him. We can't block the second backer. So he's the guy that we have to pop right here. Watch what he does. He kind of hangs out. There's the backside linebacker playing pass, and we're running stretch. Now this running back wouldn't start for a lot of teams, fellas. He's 5'8", runs a 4.8 at best, and he's a wonderful young man. He can date my daughter, but he's not a special athlete at the tailback spot. But we were able to break him through here.
Would you primarily run this play out of trio?
Yes, primarily. The coach of this football team come up to me after the game and said, "Coach, if we ran your offense with our athletes, we'd score 1,000 points a game." That's what he says. He says, "I don't know it and I can't run it, but if we ran your offense with our athletes, we'd never get stopped."
And you just gave him my number and name.
No, I didn't actually, because I got to play him next year. He's not getting your number. So watch. We talked about the Brett Favre. Watch 23. He's a Division I safety. Watch what he does. We get an extra couple stay. That couple steps is big, but because our quarterback does the Brett Favre after the handoff, he's coming down. Up.
That's good. Do you do your 3x1 to the field, your trio to the field, and run it mostly as a boundary play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Look at a lot of teams we play. They'll put the 3 to the field. We like it to the 1 technique side. Okay. If you're going to put your 3 to the boundary, and I'll show you in a few minutes. We've run it 2 the trips with success. Here's one more against St. Joe's. I wanted to show you the zone blitz. So he's creeping up to zone blitz. It's America's zone blitz. They're coming this way, and they're dropping him off. So right now, our quarterback's looking over, and it's 4 down. 1-2 is the count. That's the guy, and he's already lined up over there. So all I told him was just be aware of that dropping defensive end. And boom, get it to him right now. Our tackle 77 should be making a kick call here to let the guard know or the center know that the guy's coming quick. I don't think we got out. I think we got beat. I think the left guard gets beat here on the inside move. Actually,
Yeah, what is it?
this guard is uncovered right now, okay? We knew going in they were a 4-man front, and this man was usually on him. We knew that when this guy went to the center, he was going to cross dog there, so we should have reached him with the center and pulled the guard on the kick there. That's how we practiced it during the week. We all know sometimes you practice stuff that doesn't necessarily work out that way. But there's a nice shot.
Did the tackle do the right thing there, Coach?
Did he stay on?
The front side tackle, I wasn't sure. He didn't stay on the kid that was in front of him.
Let's get to it. Now, so there we go. We have 2 linemen on the front side of the play, both make mistakes, and we got 15 yards. Not bad. Yes, this tackle should have stayed on. We would have liked the guard to kick 27. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have enough guys to run it. Just by numbers, we don't have enough guys to run it into that. You have to throw the pop on that one. I'm going to show you one more, and we'll get to some variations on the play. So here's an example of the defensive lineman beating us up the field. This guy says, "Hey, I'm not going to get reached," and he really gets a lot of width up the field. We've got the 2 guards skip pulling, okay? There's the 1 guards man, there's the 2 guards man. It's a 3 down front, so the quarterback's reading 1, 2, 3. That's the backside linebacker for the pop read. this guy's going to come out, and normally we try to get on top of the tackle, but the tackle's man comes up the field, and he just cuts it up inside early. So now I got my two guards. They happen to be twin brothers. They're both about 5'10", 260, right there on those two guys. And we were able to take this one in the end zone.
Are those guards eyeing those guys who they know they
They know who they have right now, yep. You know, the guy to watch here, and again, this is how you're messing with the defense. Everything guys have been taught. Guard pulls, go get him. That's where the ball's going. Boy, we're not going to key guards. We're going to key tailback. So if whoever you're keying, this guy should be screwed. Now, they did their homework, and they said, well, we don't want to give up the pop. So watch what 9 does. He just stands there. The guard's going and the tailback's going. The guard's going and the tailback's going. I just got about a 2.5, 3 yard head start on this guy on a stretch play because he still thinks that we're popping it.
and the Brett Favre held them for even another half.
The Brett Favre tends to work really well on the safeties. Okay, so here's the one I shared with you before. We had a team that apexed this guy right here. At the time, I'm fixing the problems myself. At the time, I probably should have been out here running key 2. That was our concern was this. Our answer should have been run key 2, crack him, kick him. It's a long way for the R to go to catch my really fast guy here. Our answer was let's run F pop instead. We felt it was a pretty easy changeup. So this week we've got the trio into the boundary. There's the Y, he's going to go vertical. The F's going to come underneath. Quarterback pulls it, hits the F. He doesn't. He anticipates he's going to get it every play. He's hoping he gets it every play. Running backs aren't always too happy in this offense because they don't know, when and if they're getting it.
So he's not looking at the Y seam at all. It's either give it on the stretch or
yeah.
pop.
For us, we tried to keep it simple. Okay. I think we're getting a blitzer off the edge here, so we've got one guard for the blitzer. We should have the second guard for him. So they gave us, we game planned one thing. They gave us something a little different here in coverage. So what I think he just sees is a big open space right here.
You want that Y to like run through the outside shoulder of the safety or the backer to turn his hip.
Yes.
To clear it so that he can get the pop underneath. Okay.
Our tackle should have made a kick call here. This guard comes for this linebacker. If you're going to do this stuff, the one thing you'll say sometimes is, oh, why didn't we hand the ball off? As much as we just caught a 10-yard pass, I'll tell you what, right now, if our tailback has the ball, ooh, yeah, that might be 7 points right there. But
Noel is really big on not, if his quarterback makes a decision, he does not say a word.
Nope, you live with it.
You just, exactly.
Why'd you do that? Hey, okay, I got you. Sometimes I'll ask him why, but I'm certainly not going to rip him. Because the kid just threw a 15-yard completion. How can I get him on? Coach, you want me to throw that when it's open and read that and also hand off when he's not going to be able to do both. So,
Coach, what we had the biggest problem with this year running the inside zone was we faced a lot of 3-4 teams that their answer to us was to take those two defensive ends, spike them inside, and then bring those backers off the edge. This would seem to me to be the answer to that, right? Because we're going to kick that kid who's coming off the edge now. That would be a kick call, right?
Right.
Tackle takes that kid down, guard pulls up on the backside guard pulls up on that backer. We should be in business, right?
from a 3-4.
3-4. That we got a lot of just hey, what
was the coverage behind it? 0?
Yeah.
I'd throw Noel's 99 route to death. We think that's man beater. We had great success with that. Hopefully one of your guys wins that matchup.
What is that?
99 is the basic fade, speed out to the F side, and the double slant to the Y side. Okay. That to us, that's a 0 check. If you're going to give us 0, that our kids learn that day one. We want to be able to do that.
Okay.
I think this Shark might be successful, but I also would worry about them just blowing your guard up, depending that outside kid coming so quick. This team blew us up with our guard, maybe not on this one, but a couple others. Again, there's
they were doing it late, so even if we popped it, that safety probably not there in time.
Right. Here you see the F pop there, we cleared it. You know, that's an iffy one for the quarterback. We'll see it on this. So we're going to on-block him. We're going to kick with this guy. We're here. He's around for that guy. That's the pop read. It's a 3 down, 1, 2, third linebacker read. So, you know, I don't know. Right now, I don't think that guy's, you know, I don't think he's coming. I probably, in our quarterback meetings, would say, hey, this is one you probably could have handed off. The worry is this kid is standing there. He jumps up and deflects the pop or makes you throw the pop high and it goes to a safety. You know, he got his hands up. Again, we make a heck of a play there, but that concerns me as the play caller because, you know, it's one of those, what are you doing? Yeah, all right, you got the completion. But when it ends up intercepted, you know, that's a little bit of an issue.
F is tall there, too.
Yep, no, he was a good athlete for us. So now, variations. Okay, very easy in this offense to create some variations week to week. We like the green formation. Okay, in our green, we put the tailback to the Y side and the F away from the Y. Noel generally has the tailback here and the F here. We took this from Greenwich High School. That's the way they did it. It made a little more sense for our guys because of what we were doing. All right, so this is green fast motion by the tailback, by the F, excuse me, out to here, and then we're running the shark play. We're just finding another way to get to a 3-and-1. All right, starts out as 2-and-2, but by the time the ball snapped, it's almost the same formation as trio.
Do you signal Y pop for this, or do you even need to?
We signal Y pop, yep.
No matter what?
Yeah, so they know, because they don't know if they're running Comet, where they could both be blocking, we could be throwing it to him, could be Zorro Comet, or it could be Y pop. So
I'm saying if you called shark, wouldn't your quarterback know that that's his?
he should. We signal the Y pop anyway. Just the less thinking for him, the better.
Right.
So the week before, we had run our Comet play. We had blocked, put him in motion, zone read here, key that. If they didn't adjust, we threw it to him there with 2 blockers in front of him, and he went. If somebody ran out to it, we handed the ball off on zone. That's, you know, Zorro, even Comet. Well, they weren't going to let us do that in this game, and we hadn't shown this play out of the formation. So they run a safety out of the middle to go stop the Comet, and we have Y pop called. Yeah, that was an ouch. Yep.
You wind it back, coach?
Yep.
Wow.
You know, it was a little bit of a gift. This team struggled with what we were doing. It looks like they have a 1-high safety, and they're bringing pressure from the field. Okay, well, we're going to bring pressure from the field. You know, maybe they're slanting here to stop the zone, and we're going to run him over there to cover your pop. You know,
The key is all the way on the other side of the hash too, right? Because this is 4 down. Am I right in saying that, Coach? That key is over here.
right.
So,
4 down, so we've got 1 puller for him, and he's the read.
so that's an automatic, right?
Do it.
Unless he crosses the center.
I couldn't see I couldn't. I was
Right. Well, again, the week before we're throwing it out to the motion man, and he's getting yards.
You already in trio, you just throw it out there.
That's it. And we actually used this motion the week before and threw Comet screen out to him, and then this week we added the next week we come back and add the pop to it. You know, now they're in a 2-high, but they're still struggling with it. I'm not going to. Again, what does your quarterback have to do? He's got to identify that there's 3 down. He's got to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's the guy that I'm reading. This guard's going to block 44. This guard's going to block 7. What does 45 do? Well, he ran out and didn't do what he was supposed to do.
How quick is the tailback going there? Is he kind of? It looks like he's in a little bit of slow motion there. Is that on purpose?
The motion guy or the tailback?
Tailback going to get the handoff.
Good question. He shouldn't be in slow motion, but at the same time,
It's like 3/4.
Right.
You know, it looked like he was kind of
slow too fast through on his own. I mean, I don't think he's got to be going too fast until he decides where he wants to go with the football. Here's one more run. Okay, we've got a 4 down front, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the pop linebacker right away. I see his head's down. The snap is bad. They're going to blitz us off the edge here. So the center is going to kick that out.
Center was pulling because it was deep.
Center was pulling because there was a one technique to the play side. And we didn't have a great center. He was 6 foot, 240. He wasn't big, really big. He had decent feet. We were concerned whether we could pull the center. My line coach, when we got this scheme, was like, oh, we can't pull him. We're not going to be able to get him out there. He was athletic enough to do it. Was he outstanding at it? No. But most of the time, all he was doing was folding up in the B gaps. You say he's pulling, but really it's more of a fold block. Here, because of the blitz, the tackle takes his man down. That's why it's got to be a tight zone drive, not a reach block. If you're trying to reach him or hook him, you're going to get beat with this inside move. It's a tight zone block where you're going to be on him on the inside move. Now the center's got to kick 35. He does a pretty good job of that. And the pop guy 34 did make the tackle. Could the quarterback have thrown the pop? Maybe. 34 kind of moves a little bit, but it's still a 4-yard gain.
Do you emphasize to those backside kids to try to get into their guts a little bit to get their hands down?
Not really. Maybe we should. We just...
I was just wondering if you guys did.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Probably something we should have done. Now, team wants to play the 3 in the boundary. One of the things that we came up with, this really worked well in one game for us. We put our trips to the field, okay? We still ran, now it's trio left, shark odd. So now we're running the shark to the trip side. It didn't change for the box at all, okay? Reach, block the 1, wrap the B gap, block on, block on. Well, they got the 3 to the boundary, and now they want to roll to cover 3 to cover your trips. So either he's manned up or they're trying to play zone with the Sam dropping. Well, what's the Sam get? The Sam gets a puller and a tailback going away. So that didn't work real well for this defense. So this is trio right, shark even X pop. And this is where, okay, there's the pop. 4 down, 1, 2, second linebacker in the box. They had 3 guys for our 3 guys out here. Here's the one I talked about. One of those, what are you doing? Yay. The linebacker did blitz. Technically, we should have handed it off, but our guy loves to throw touchdowns, so he found a way to sneak that in. And what's the middle safety seeing? The middle safety seeing stretch away from the slant route. So
Shark period.
most of those
10
clubs
minutes
suck at
every
playing
week
press.
on Wednesday.
every Wednesday is shark drill for 10. Every Tuesday is Zorro drill for 10. And, now they're not playing press. They run the same blitz. We run the same play, and it just didn't work well for them. So you can create, whatever you want out of this play.
Did you script the periods? The Zorro and the Shark periods?
A Zorro and Shark period was,
Looks on defense?
Zorro and Shark was first offensive box on the ball with the Y. So we've got our linemen, we've got our tailback and our first string quarterback up, we've got the 3rd string offense in whatever defense I want. Okay? Shark odd, we're going to run shark odd, Y pop 5 or 6 times in a row. I'm going to maneuver the defense, okay? 3 is over here, 1 is over here, ready, and linebacker flow. Go, hit it. Boom, right back on the ball. Here we go again, all right? 3 is here, 1 is here, linebacker sit. Boom, go. And so we would get, 5 or 6 reps with the first group going that way. Then we'd come back, we'd run it the other side, boom, second group in, and we would hustle through that.
Do it with full 11 on 11?
No, I got rid of all the receivers that weren't involved that week. So if it's just Y pop, all my outside receivers are gone and my Fs were gone.
Okay.
If it was a week where we're running F pop, well then the Fs would be with us and Wise might be with us for the timing to get that, but the outside receivers are
That's
gone.
something you game plan week to week. Well, we're going to run Y pop this week.
This is how we're going to run the shark.
Okay.
Usually just have one way to do it.
Excuse me. I have a quick question. How do you keep from having linemen downfield?
Good question. It doesn't get called. Sometimes we run stick draw, another run pass option. The guard's 2 yards down the field. If it doesn't get called, we're throwing the ball. I believe by rule they have a 3-yard window. So most of our stuff is quick passes. Our key screen is catch and throw. All right. Our stick draw is catch and throw. Okay. Our shark is ride and throw. So our linemen are going to get a little downfield, but they're never more than 3 yards downfield, and we weren't called on any of it. So my defensive coordinator hates it. He says we're cheating, you know, but it's never been a problem for us. Sometimes we can run it without the pop, just run the shark scheme, especially when you have a 5-man box. You can just pull the center out and go get that and run your shark and block him. Or we could keep it with an F pop here. If your F's a real fast kid and maybe that guy's flowing, you could run F pop now and run it out of a 2 and 2. So it doesn't always have to be out of a 3 and 1. We did a little bit of this. It was pretty good for us as well. You know, it was a 1-week adjustment. We changed the call to Mako to let the linemen know that it was a 2 and 2 play, not a 3 and 1 play. Just so the count, because sometimes he would say, okay, 4 down, that's the first linebacker, so that's who I've got, and that's the pop. On shark, that's kind of his rule, first linebacker, second. So we said Mako, we said you don't count anybody outside the box, and you'd have that Mike linebacker. That's how we termed it for our kids. Mako was shark, but the guard has in the box, not out of the box. That's kind of our shark presentation right there, our shark play. I think it's very teachable. I think it's easy, and I think it complements our inside zone game out of the 3 and 1 very much. So for us, it was a very productive play, as you can see. Any questions you guys have about anything you've seen on the site so far, any direction you want to go?
Coach, can you just talk to us for a second about how you talked a little bit how you practice tempo, but is there some kind of like language you guys use because you want to speed it up, or is it just, or you just call plays as fast as you can?
I call plays as fast as I possibly can.
Always in
right.
Fast.
Now we have 2 calls that assist us in that. We have something we call thunder. Thunder means run the same play again. Okay? In the state championship game, we ran the same play 5 times in a row, all right, to start the game, because we wanted to emphasize our tempo, wanted to get our kids playing fast.
And when you call thunder, you're telling the kids, I want that ball snapped in 5 seconds.
Thunder means get to the line, we're doing it again. That's what thunder means.
What were you running?
Trio right, Zorro odd, key 2. First play of the game, we ran it, we dropped the key screen. Wide open key screen, we dropped it. We come back the second play, the key screen was wide open. He chooses to hand it off, we get 15. Okay? Both of them were open. Come back on the ball, throw the key this time for 5. Come back on again, I think we ran it for 3 yards that time. So we just wanted to establish the fact that we were going to play fast that day. A lot of times if they call me the repeater sometimes, but if we get a good play, hey, hit it again, man. Hit it again. Get up there. And it worked very well for us. And
your lightning is no play, right?
Lightning is our no play. That's our second call. Lightning, you got to have lightning, in my opinion. It's just a critical thing because it helps you when you slow down as a play caller. I don't know what I want to call. My receiver coach will sometimes send it in for me. If I'm slow, if I'm looking down at the sheet thinking, all right, he'll just go, that's our signal for lightning. And we'll get up on the ball, lightning, lightning. So number 1, we can see what they're in. Number 2, we get them to jump off sides a lot, especially early in the game. We're going to come up with a couple other calls for lightning as the season progresses because the first 2 or 3 times you're lightning them, they might go off sides. After a while, they do figure that out.
You want that to be a hard count, right?
Hard count by our quarterback, yes.
With the intention of then the quarterback looking over and getting the next play?
Then he's going to look to me and get the next play, yes. And again, anytime you want to see what they're in, you're not sure if they're going to blitz you or not on a 3rd down, give them a lightning. And you get it, you can get them to give away what they're going to do. you know, and
And once you've been running thunder a bunch, they're ready to roll.
right. And it works. It worked for us very well. And again, I liked it a lot because it gave me a chance to think sometimes if I'm not fast enough.
What do you start with when you install this day one? Like, you know, when we go spring practice this year. Zoro.
We start with Zorro. Zorro's day one stuff. Yep.
Okay.
So this is our install chart, and again, we got this idea from Noel. Set your season up in a 3-day install period. When you're first putting the offense in, you know, it's basically practice 1, practice 2, practice 3. But you might spend 2 days in a row on the first install during camp. You don't necessarily have to go, you know, practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, back to 1, especially if you've never done the offense before and you're just putting in for the first time. What we did in our summer mini camp, which we run in July with our kids, is we spent the first 2 days on install 1, the second 2 days on install 2, the third day of Friday on install 3, and then that was our mini camp progression, and then they went on break for a while, and we came back for the regular season. Yes?
Coach, one of the problems that I foresee for our program, okay, using the system, is, again, has to do with install. We don't have spring ball. We don't necessarily have summer camps. We don't work out well to do school. So getting these kids to a camp is difficult.
Right.
Okay? So the first time we're going to have an opportunity to really work with these kids on anything like this is when we see them on August, I don't know if it's 14 or 17 this year, they're debating that. Okay? At that point, okay, we've got offense, defense, and special teams going to put in the whole shooting match.
Is everybody else you play in the same situation? Okay, well that's an advantage for you then, so you're not behind the 8 ball that way. But that's a real challenge that you have. I think you have to simplify the system. You got to do, obviously, we simplified from what Noel Nzone does, and you have to maybe even simplify from what we did. Less formations. I still think you can put the core concepts in, because I'm really talking about 3 running plays that you have to master. You know, that's different than a lot of offenses. It's only 3 plays. Now there's pressure on your quarterback. You know, if you can get together and look at film on the championship system with your quarterback, you know, before school lets out, things like that to kind of help him along a little bit, that would be helpful. Yeah, you're in a tough spot. You're probably in a tough spot whatever offense you run, because just, you know, very, very limited practice time wise.
But you kind of went through and just decided, hey, I'm not going to you can't put in everything that Noel's got on that site, so you picked what you thought was best for your philosophy and your personnel.
Right. So our first run day is zone, and we've been a zone team for 10 years. So Zorro is the zone read play. Slip is the zone play out of 2 backs, split zone, where the 1 back is going to block the backside edge. So they marry into each other very well. Very easy to put Zorro and slip in the first day. Sorry, Coach. Rocket and laser is Noel's over screen. Okay, it's a quick screen to the tailback swing screen. So that was the screen of the day. One of the things that we got from Noel, and I'll show you this real quick. And we went out and bought the big bags to do this. So you might be running the rocket screen, which is a screen out here, quick set and kick, quick set and alley, crack, block the deep half. And what we do is we have one of those big stand-up dummies and we put it out here, okay? We have another stand-up dummy as this safety. We have a stand-up dummy as the inside linebacker. We set them up, safeties on the hash, okay? And when we start offensive practice, we have a 5-minute screen period. It moves very quick. First group gets on the ball, we call the play. For us, this would be rocket and Exxon as a drop back pass concept. Sometimes I'll have a coach play the mic to help the quarterback out, but we're just getting on the ball. 1, 2, 3, throwing it out there. These guys are knocking the hell out of the bags, and these guys are pass setting and running to the goal line. We do this from the 10-yard line going in so that everybody finishes in the end zone after every play, and it's just a nice tempo setter for us to begin offensive practice. All right, one day it's the rocket and laser screen. Okay, the next day it would be Rose and Linda. The third day, rabbit and leopard, and that's Noel's Rex and Lex screen. So, 5-minute screen period, and it moves. First group up, go. Second group up, go. Third group up, go. We have enough for 3 solid groups in our program. We have a lot of, we have 7 wide receivers at each spot, but we have 3 offensive lines. So that's usually how we run the screen drill. But that's the first 5 minutes of offensive practice every day, gets us moving. So our first 2 quick game concepts, 90, which is a hitch concept, 99, which is the man beater. All right, hitch and man beater you have to have. We feel fade and speed out, double slant, and that goes in on the first day. Chevron and Exxon are snag concepts, Daytona are vertical, and shack, which is the basic shallow cross route, go in day 1. Okay, and now we have 3 protections, and they're all the same. Okay, these 3 protections for us are all the same. Ram and Lion is a drop back protection. Okay, it's a 3-and-3 slide protection, or our full slide. Okay, we use the same rules in our 3-step game. I don't know, everybody talks about full slide in the 3-step game at the college level, and it's great because their running backs can cut. Our high school running backs can't cut. My tailback was about 158 pounds this year. I don't want to send him on a defensive end every play. So we use our 3, slide 3, half slide man protection in the 3-step game as well as the drop back game. We just changed the name so the offensive line knows, okay, it's aggressive now. It's 3 steps, so I'm firmer than I would be in my drop back. R&L means the tailback goes out hot. It's still a 3-man slide and a man side for us, but now it's a 5-man protection with the tailback hot. So the O-line is doing the same thing on all of those. It's the same protection for the O-line. One is tailback in, the other is tailback hot, and the other is 3-step drop. But from an assignment standpoint, they're all the same. Cowboy, Seattle is one of Noel's play action routes, and then we put the lightning call in right away on the first install. Come back the second day, we put in Shark in Detroit. You saw the Shark play. Detroit's the stick draw. We put in the Rose and Linda screen. We put in 2 quick game routes. We put in our other drop back routes that we think you have to have. And, we really didn't run these 2. We didn't get them in. We used Indy a lot in the red zone, but it really didn't get practiced well until mid-season. In Chicago, we threw it in the summer as a 7-on-7 route. It's a great Tampa 2 killer, but it was a 7-on-7 route for us. We didn't really use it during the season. Ron and Lou is our 3-and-1 protection. We put in play action. We didn't have any other play action routes. Noel's got a bunch of great ones on the site. They're all good, but you don't have enough time to practice them at high school level. So we really didn't have any other play actions in there. The Thunder call went in day 2. None of that stuff we ever got really good at. Okay, Tiger and Turtle is the dart play with the tackle pulling. That's probably one that we could either, when we called Tiger, the tailback got the ball. We called Turtle, the quarterback got the ball. We tinkered around with them a little bit. We didn't run them a lot. Again, we had the 3 core runs or the 4 core runs on install 1 and 2. Turtle was nice in that it was quarterback dart, so we could run the tailback across. It looks like Shark. The linebacker would sit because he thinks we're Shark popping him, and then we'd pull the backside tackle up on him. That was probably the one we'll hold on to. Boss is something that Noel runs out of 2-back. It's basically 2-back stretch where everybody reach blocks. And slant was similar to one of Jack's concepts, the W play, where you're leading through. If you watched his last webinar, he had the W play. That's a basic ISO, weak side ISO play.
Army-Navy concept? Right,
that Army-Navy concept. We looked at it. Again, another good play, but for us, we just didn't have enough practice time to get good at it. The boss play was probably the one, we ran Turtle and boss the most out of that. When I was thinking about being a spread guy, I thought we'd be a zone team. I thought we would run read power. You know, everybody's running the quarterback read power stuff. I thought that's probably where we'd head. But we picked up the shark play in the summer, and we just realized that at the high school level, there's only so much you could practice. Let's get good at Zorro and shark in Detroit, and not worry about putting any more stuff in. So this is kind of how we went about it.
Why is it that, maybe I'm not understanding shark now, why would you separate shark and Zorro from each other when you're just adding any other back with the backside block? Explain shark, because I don't understand why that would be so different than practicing Zorro.
Well, in shark, the backside linemen are on blocking. You know, it's not our full zone scheme. It's a different blocking scheme for them. They're blocking man on, okay? We've got a puller on the shark play that we don't have on the Zorro play.
Sorry, I got it now. This shark.
You talking about more the boss play, the full zone stretch?
No, I was thinking slip. So
Slip.
You're doing with Zorro.
Slip and Zorro fit together.
Slip is the two-back zone.
Slip is the two-back zone, yep.
And with,
Go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say with slip, all that front side guy's doing is taking care of the backside read.
That's all you've done. You've taken away a backside read, and now we tell the backside tackle who has a through block on Zorro, now he can climb right away. And if you guys want to hear about the zone play, we'll get to that in a couple minutes. I want to get to your question, Coach, about practice time, too, with 55 minutes. So,
You didn't have the keys up there, so I'm assuming you just built them in with Zorro.
right, keys are part of the Zorro game.
All right, got it.
You know, Coach, the other question I had was those keys. If you, let's say you're in a game you call Zorro odd key 2.
Right.
Now those keys are more game plan for the week. You're going to say we think that key 2 is now. Let's say you call dual left Zorro odd key 2, and you come up to line of scrimmage, and now you got to press on 2. Is that quarterback going to say, all right, I'm giving the ball now?
Well, I'm giving the ball now. Now I'm into my inside zone read.
In the middle of the play,
Nope.
even if one is got a corner that's 10 yards off, right? You
Nope.
won't never
You're
change.
trying to run it and fit. You're trying to get a play call, run in 15 seconds. We're going to make that call and stick with it. I think, at least I felt like this was important for high school guys. How do you practice the system? So this is an example. I went through a week of our practice. All right. So this was an evening practice. We probably started at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. There was a girls' soccer game on our turf field, after school. So we had to practice at night. So we came out, and for 5 minutes we ran the screens. We ran green Zorro odd rocket, blue Zorro even laser, green chevron laser, blue chevron rocket. Those were screen plays against bags on air, 5 minute running into the end zone tempo period. At Ramapo High School, we practice defense first, always. We special teams in the middle. We usually have 15 to 20 minute special teams period. Then we finish with offense. So this is Tuesday. Around our place, we say Tuesday is bruise day. This is our most physical day of the week. So we have a 10-minute O-line run block technique, 10-minute running backs, ball security, cutting drills, ball carrying drills, okay? And then we do our key drill with our quarterbacks and wide receivers. If you're going to run the zone read key, this is critical drill that you have to do with your players. So we're going to come out, and I'm just going to put my right arm out. We're in dual right. So there's the Y, there's the Z, there's the X, there's the F, okay? We had 3 QBs this year, so I had a coach here, a quarterback here, and a quarterback here with our varsity, and we had 4 or 5 guys at each position. So to the Z side, we always ran key 1. So he's running key 1, and he's doing whatever, he's blocking most dangerous, whatever it might be for that week. We said it was a cover 2 week, so he's getting 1 step and getting flat and blocking that corner, and this quarterback is throwing the key, and the quarterbacks are rotating this way. At the same time, over here, we're throwing our key 2, and whether it was 1 high or 2 high, we'd have the next X would be the defender to block, and he's throwing key 2, and the quarterbacks just worked around in a circle, and for 3 or 4 minutes, we're throwing the keys. Catch, step, throw, okay? Now we switch, we go to dual left. The Y comes here, the F goes here. Remember, in our system, they are right wide receivers and left wide receivers. So now he steps up on the ball, and now he's blocking, he's still catching keys, okay? Now this guy over here who's been blocking for 3 or 4 minutes, now he's stepping back and he's catching keys. So we switch it, and I try to make it 3 minutes with each of those.
Coach, you ever run key 2 to the Y?
No. Don't do it. We had one kid that probably could have been okay with it, but he's on the ball. I don't like the blocking assignment with him on the ball and the other kid off. And
That's the reason I was asking, because being that I have the kid that I want to get the ball to, if I'm going to make him, should I make him the F then? Because I want to give him the ball in space. This kid is the kind of kid that if I can get him the ball in space, that's going to be.
we would make that guy the F in the way we run the offense. You could easily just say, hey, in our offense, guys, we're going to keep the Y, we're going to keep both inside guys off and both outside guys on. That's your decision as to how you want to do it. So after about 6 minutes of that, our best, one of our best plays was key 2 out of trio. So we've still got that same quarterback rotation going on. So now they're throwing key 2 over here, and these two guys are practicing whatever blocking combination we think we're going to see. Yes, Coach?
Coach, what's your footwork on the key 2?
For the
F.
For the F. The F, if the quarterback is over there, he's going to take one step with his outside foot, okay, step up hard, and he's just going to pedal out like this. What we would like on the key screens is key 2 should look just like key 1. It should be almost thrown in the exact same spot, so it's consistent for the quarterback. And we found that, we ran bubble for years, and it's much more consistent than bubble. We completed, I think, 90% of our keys during the year. It's much more consistent than I feel bubbling the kid out and having them look back in like this, and we did that for many years. I think that's a harder pass to throw. This was very easy for us. So
you throw a lot of key 3?
we did not throw a lot of key 3. We ran a little, and we ran that as true bubble, and we used to run a lot more of it before we went to this system, but we found we really like this key 2 to the 3-man side. Because what we found, we would get a strong safety here, we'd get an apex guy here, whoever that might be, and our blocking scheme was to crack, to kick, we called this a cab block, run it up in there and run away from him. And we found that to be a very successful blocking scheme for us.
Coach, how much different is it at a tripod?
If we were in our tripod alignment, which would be Y as the inside guy, now we run it as bubble here, and it depended on who we played, how we blocked the edge there, whether we were going to cab block that, which is what we call this cross block. Whenever Z and Y cross, for us that's a cab block, and we'd hit it up in the middle.
Coach, when you run and I might be getting ahead of Teddy here, we talked about last night, you running those locks to protect the key screen.
Yes.
Do you practice those quick screen and up plays during this period?
No, we usually practice those on Monday. I'll get back to what Monday is. Monday's our varsity only day. Our sub-varsity kids are playing a game, so I've got a limited group, but Monday was the day we usually work the locks.
Okay, so just real quick, if you were running the lock out of this, that Z is going to come across.
Out of a cab?
Yeah, out of a cab. Now, do you designate what they're going to do by game plan assignment that week? Like, all right, we're going to cab this when we run the lock?
If the second guy is outside of the Y, we're going to cab it. Or if this guy is giving us the business, we're having trouble blocking this guy, we have some protections, but if he's coming up, if he's a tough guy to block, at times, if the corner's off, we can say double. The Z, the outside receiver, makes the call. He's going to say cab, okay, or he could say double if that guy's off and we know that guy's tough. Or we could be starting here and he beats that, we tell the Y, hey, double him on the run. Another Nolism is get the play started, okay? Get this guy blocked. Even if I've got a one-on-one with this guy, well, this is a good player. There's a good chance he can beat that, all right? Rather than worrying about getting the guy out on him, let's make sure we get this guy blocked. Get the play started. Block the most dangerous guy. You have your athlete in space with the ball. Count on him to make somebody miss.
And if you're running that lock, that Z is going to break down on him and then go right at the seam, right?
Yes. Lock is, for the new guys, lock is the fake key. So, in this game week, we might be cab blocking, so he would come in here, he would go up the hash, he would come like he was kicking, stutter his feet and go. Show hands, you know, is one of Coach's coaching points on that. If you show hands when you stutter your feet, you know, that D-back is all of a sudden going to start trying to, you know, evasive moves. So this is a way to protect your key screen if these guys are running up there and knocking the snot out of it.
Signal the lock, or did you call the lock?
Everything to the receivers is signaled in.
What was your signal for lock?
This is key 1, key 2, key 3, lock 1, lock 2, lock 3.
And for the lineman, it's drop back protection there?
We run act odd to make it look like the play action. So if we're on lock, and here's where all these protections, it sounds like a lot, but there's so much just like. So for us, we're going to call the protection act odd, okay? But it's the same, acting like it's Zorro odd. It's play action, and act odd is lion protection. And lion is our half slide. So it's A gap, B gap, C gap. If it was a 4 down front, okay? Man on, dual read, whichever linebacker that is, inside to out. So he's got an inside-out dual read. If the edge guy were to come on an act-odd protection, we tell the tailback abort the fake and get to him right now. If the inside guy, both guys were to come, hey, he's going to get the inside guy and the widest rusher comes free. But act odd, if we were in the drop-back game, is the same for us as lion. So it's 2 for 1. And lion is the same as Liz, which would be our 3-step protection. And so we're getting a lot for a little. We feel we got a lot of multiplicity with not too much for our offensive linemen to need.
Coach, why wouldn't you act even on that to have the back cross the quarterback's face on play action?
Well, because our inside zone probably 85% of the time hits backside. So, and we want to sell, if it were act even, now our lineman would be going this way, and no, our zone play has the line going that way. So we just feel it looks a lot more like the zone than by doing it that way.
What's your spacing of the receivers?
Spacing of our receivers. The outside receiver is on the numbers. Okay, if he's into the boundary, it's the outside of the numbers. If he's to the field, it's the inside of the numbers. He would be about 8 yards from the tackle, and he's going to the F's going to split the difference.
On the lock, is the quarterback shoulder faking the key 2? And then
Absolutely. We tell him, good pass pro work there in one-on-ones. Then it's any install and review for the week. What am I, okay. Install for the linemen. Here's where we put our locks in, our locks for the week. Any new stuff. This week we were working on F-Quick motion. We had some F-Quick and F-Ghost. So we put that stuff in and a few routes that we wanted to practice on. This is kind of install 3 stuff for us. Then we go out of the middle of the field for a while and we go some goal line stuff. So that's a Monday practice for us.
Were you primarily in that bone that Bobby has on the site, the College of New Jersey stuff, where they were in that bone pistol look?
Yes.
That was your goal line package, right? Still gun or anything? Do you ever get under center?
Yes, we do. I'll show you bone and then I'll show you what we do under center. And believe me, it's not complicated. So bone for us, I don't know who he is. These are right and lefts right now because there's no Y in the game. No Y, you're on the ball. So we put the F here, put the tail back here, looks like pistol. Okay, so we would line up like that and we would motion him and run slip. So if we motioned him in this direction, free motion, I wanted the quarterback looking that way. If nobody ran out to cover him, we'd throw him the key screen and let him go one-on-one. If he's a stud like you have, you're saying he's a stud, well, let them go send one guy out on him. Is there a cover guy going to tackle your guy in 5 yards? Block him. You want to play man? You want to blitz everybody? This is catch and throw him the ball. He's your best player. Get him out in space.
Now, is that a true bubble, or do you want him to turn around and kind of...
This for us, he would motion out, and yeah, it would be a bubble type pass for us. And now we're going to run the slip play here. It's zone. For us, it would be slip even. So now we're running zone. Well, these guys run zone all the time. They do that. The Y blocks the backside edge. So now we have bone right, free, slip even, comet. That's what we call this play. That's bone. Actually, excuse me. I don't even know if it's bone right or bone left. I'd have to ask my kids. It's bone with motion. Yeah, it's whatever they want it to be. It's bone with motion running a slip.
So what's your cadence on this, and how are you timing it, getting the F out there in the flat?
Ready! He goes. Quarterback decides if he's gone far enough, set, go.
Okay.
Again, very easy. Somebody runs with him, hand the ball off on slip. Still a pretty good run play. Nobody runs with him, throw him the ball. Our guy wasn't all that big and physical. He was a good player. If I had a real stud, I don't care if they run with him. I might, if I have his guy who's, better than everybody else, throw him the ball, let him run. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff in here. All these guys are getting their asses kicked. Throw it to this guy, go one-on-one. Okay? Now, we had a pretty good offensive line. I had 4 seniors and a junior who's got a full ride to Rutgers. So we were pretty good up here. We handed the ball off and we could make space. We would block A, B, C gap. We usually found a way to make space there. The next week we could come back and run fast motion. And now run slip odd. So it's slip odd, so now everybody's blocking their left gap. He's kicking out the end man. Same concept. Quarterback catch the ball. If nobody runs with the F, throw the ball to the F.
And then Bobby ran naked off of that, right?
Yep.
That's a killer.
Hand the ball. If somebody runs out of the box, hand the ball off and take your shot. And if you want to run naked out of this, slip him into the flat. We call that playboy. And now you tighten your X down on playboy to get him across the field. You run him there, and now you fake the slip. Playboy, everybody blocks zone. He slides out, and you've got a naked play.
Coach, how you motion your how you signaling your motion?
So fast motion means the F is crossing the ball. So this is fast, and that's free for us.
How you F ghost?
F ghost. F ghost.
Any reason why I couldn't just yell it out?
No?
No.
I yell my stuff out.
Yeah.
I gotta keep it simple.
Yeah, I don't see how anybody would. Who cares if they pick it up?
Yell Tommy.
Do you have a quarterback? You have a quarterback that can throw?
Yes.
All right, so you get down, and this is the route we really like down in the red zone. And it's a core staple of the package. So you're in dual right. We run travel motion. So you've got two guys out here right now. You're seeing a lot of man-to-man there, right?
You're talking about red zone?
Red zone goal line. We like this inside the 5. It's pretty good for us. Whoever this outside linebacker is. But we run 95. So he runs a fade. He runs a stick. We travel motion him out. Well, if that linebacker doesn't leave the box, we throw the ball to him. We've run him off. He's got that. Tailback runs into the end zone. He's your tailback. He's a pretty good player. They better run a linebacker out. If they now move the linebackers, so we get linebacker movement, the back side of it is double slant routes. I tell the quarterback, usually we get a 6-man rush here, right? You're probably gonna get some type of, maybe they put the free safety here, they blitz the Sam.
See, that's what we got all the time. Every time we were in the goal line, they put 2 guys on the edge and try to send them off the edge.
Okay, so now, if you look at it, they're bringing 6. It means they got 5 to cover. 1, 2, 3. Whoever this guy is, they probably blitz the will, and we call him the bandit, the safety there. So there you go. So now, who's got the tailback man-to-man? Probably the Mike linebacker. So if the Mike linebacker runs out, this is your stud. You've got double slants here. We like that a lot. We had a good player here. He would stick outside and he'd beat his guy inside every time, and we threw 3 touchdowns there. Okay? Mike linebacker doesn't move. He's a factor on that. Throw the ball out here, let him run into the end zone. If it's some type of a 5 across zone, you got a pretty good look. If he moves just a little bit and he runs out there, throw your stick route. Now, we put this concept in the summer and we carried it all year, So when we got to the final, our kids were very, very comfortable with this particular concept, and it was a big part of our red zone attack.
His initial key is to the front side.
Front side. Yeah, absolutely.
Then after he sees that move, now he's checking middle.
He puts him in motion and he's looking here. If I've got 1-on-1 out there, is a third guy joining the equation? If there's no third guy in the equation, well, I've got 3 against 2, throw it out here. Right. Throw it to the tailback. If he jumps, Coach, you told me to throw it to the tailback, but that F jumped him. That safety jumped the tailback. He saw my eyes, he was going right for him. Well, there's nobody left to cover the Y. It's a simple, about as short a throw as you can get in football. 10 yards away, facing you, throw him the ball for a touchdown.
That stick from the Y is an inside breaking route?
Because our Y is wide, we run the stick as an inside. For years when we had a tight end in here, he ran an outside breaking route. But as a detached Y, we tell him to turn and look in unless the guy's right on, unless the guy's playing inside leverage man, then you're going to turn and look to leak out. But if that Mike doesn't move or you don't have more coverage, you're going to throw that there. The minute we get a little bit of movement out of the Mike, we love this double slant to the backside.
Do you still look front, or you just eyes automatically?
Nah, he's in his right leg is up. He sees the motion, boom, he's going to catch it and he's going to go right there. We want to throw it right now. What we do is we call this a seam route. It's a 1-step slant and get inside. Sometimes he'll go 3 and chop his feet real quick, but he gets inside right now, and then this guy pushes more vertical, makes it look like a fade. He's running the 5-step and come flatter. So if for some reason we get mugged here, all right, and we're getting covered, we think he's got a second option to go with the ball. So that's pretty good goal line.
Yeah. Did you guys run jet at all, Coach?
We did not. And again, it's an awesome play. It's an awesome concept. We fell in love with some other things, and we just didn't think we had time to practice.
Jet on there?
A Jaguar, yeah.
Yeah, I
Jaguar
remember
on that. And I like running trio. We call it trio right bunch Mercedes. But you've got to commit to running a mesh period almost every day. And I would do my mesh period. I love running mesh on the goal line. And it's kind of like whatever you fall in love with. But you gotta
Exactly.
You got to rep it, and
If you look,
decide it's in your practice.
if you look here, there's no Mercedes, and that's a decision that we made. We feel Mercedes is an awesome route, but it's a very intensive practice time route. We didn't think we were going to be able to get good at it, and
You just got to have mesh period every day.
Right.
So if you're going to do it, then you get just like he's doing Zorro and Sharp period. You know, I put a mesh period in as
Right.
part of that's my first goal line call, because I'm trying to hit the corner, and I teach my quarterback to throw it to the back pylon.
Right.
And I can show it a little bit later, but this is how.
It's a great route.
This
It's a
would be
great
good for
route.
us because we couldn't do it with the travel motion, but we were a big jet team down there in the goal line. So teams started putting that free blitzer to the side of our back, knowing that we were going to run jet lead.
Right.
But they can't. You know, if we were going to do this, they couldn't
Right.
really do that. That kid's either got to run out with him, and then that backside kid's open.
Coach, on Sunday night, then, did you put 28 plays up on the board
I wasn't that good.
before going into your practice week?
I tried to. I can't tell you that we always did. There were some days things had to come off during the week. We might have had a few too many.
But when we say 28 plays, you showed like 8 different ways to run sharp. Were those 8 part of your 28 or part of your 20?
So probably there was 3 variations of Zorro, 2 or 3 variations of Shark.
Yeah.
You know, of just Detroit out of trio maybe, or maybe 2 variations. You know, that was the thing, is we had to decide week by week, pick from that menu of Zorros, that menu of Sharks, that menu of, you know, other stuff, what we were going to take into game week. Usually the thing is, you got a whole lot of ways to run something. You got to cut out the ways and kind of try to condense to what you want to do.
Guys, thank you, Drew. Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome, Mark.
I'll give you a buzz.
Shoot me an email at any point. Give me a call. So Wednesday, Wednesday was Shark and Detroit drill. So Shark and Detroit drill, we gave ourselves an extra 5 minutes there. Running backs, quarterbacks, and Ys came for that. Wide receiver were doing their skill work. This was after our screen period. Then we had another Skelly period. And what we got to is Noel's protections are 2-and-2 based and 3-and-1 based. They're formation-based protections. He's in Ram and Lion when he's in dual. He's in Ron and Lou when he was in trio. So basically for us, Tuesday became dual drop back pass day, or 2-and-2 drop back, and Wednesday became a lot of 3-and-1 drop back pass day. And then we had our 24 play team script, up and back, boom, we're out, we're done.
Are you running that on air, or are you running that like in a Skelly deal?
The quarterbacks and receiver period, that's a Skelly period for us.
Okay.
That's a Skelly. And this is probably game 6, so we're getting 2 groups. I have 2 offensive groups against everybody else on defense.
Do you script first 12 plays going into a game?
I do. Sometimes I stay on, sometimes I don't, you know, but I think, especially if you're trying to be tempo, you don't want to be fishing for calls early. So we try to, this is what we want to establish early in the game, and we go from there.
You find yourself calling most of the plays, your guy up top calling most of your plays?
I call most of my plays. He gives us some suggestions.
Okay.
Coach?
Running back drills on the website, they had drills with wide receivers, quarterbacks, and all line.
Yeah, that's my fault.
There wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, ask me a question. Though.
Just if we had any.
We do. We do. We just got to get them up. Okay. Well, and I actually just got a ton from Bobby that they used at TCNJ that my geeks have just got to get up on. We got it for O-line, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. Because I know we've been terrible with not having a lot of wide receiver and quarterback drills and running back drills up there. So it's coming.
So by Wednesday, hey, everybody says the hay's in the barn. We come in Thursday, quick review of screens. Well, for us, pregame, we do a 15-minute red zone passing period. Okay, generally we're seeing man coverage there. We do goal line. Sikkim is that 0 blitz period, so then we get a 10-minute period there. We run a few plays in the middle of the field, hit our 2-minute drill, and it's game time. Obviously, the transition to the 2-minute drill is easier because you're already a no-huddle team, but there you're coaching the concepts of, hey, when to get out of bounds with the ball and those types of things. we had a good offensive line this year. We went under center for one thing only, and that was quarterback sneak. Every time it was 1 yard or less, we ran the sneak. We ran it pretty well. I don't know how you all do it, but we call it wedge blocking, and we try to stick the entire football team through the A gap. It's the only time that we tighten our splits. We line the tailback up there, and we try to get the entire football team into the A gap. We tell the tailback to run up and push the push the guard next to where the quarterback's running. By rule, you can't push the quarterback. There's no rule against pushing the offensive lineman. So how are we going to get a little more push? We're going to run up and tell the tailback, smash into that offensive guard, try to push that pile a little bit. So quarterback is looking to find a leak out place wherever he can find it, looking to bury his way in there. We had a short kid, so he was never jumping over the top. He took one down the sidelines in one game because that was where the opening was. Waited till the biggest game of the year, lined up in this. Okay, everybody knew what we were going to do. We're a tempo team. Okay, said you're going to leak out for a pass like that. So he stepped forward, came back, hit him right in the face with the ball. There was nobody near him, and he dropped it.
Did you go on first sound?
Ready, set, go. No, same cadence. But, we've been setting this up for weeks, and it's all we do it's all we do is we quarterback sneak. Okay, here it is. We're going to make our quarterback sneak call. But the first time we got it, you're going to run down the field. He stepped in, came up, everybody was on the line of scrimmage, and he dropped the darn thing. It's one of the 2 games we lost by 3 points.
The only tempo is you just have the regular tempo, and then I guess Thunder was kind of like your...
Thunder is the same play over again. Yeah, we're trying to be as fast as we can be all the time. Now, when would you not want to be fast? You gotta, you're leading the game at the end. You want to slow the game up. I control that as the head coach. They don't have to know we're changing the tempo. They're just waiting for the play. I slow it down myself. We don't have a call for that. Yeah, we should come up with some really cool name that says coach isn't going to put the play in for a long time because we want to wait till the referee starts counting. We've coached that. We've drilled that. I just don't have a name for it.
Noel in the first game against Rice, he just goes one speed, which is really fast. They got out in front. Jim Morrow walked down the sideline and said, "Noel, slow it down and run the ball." And that's like the first time he'd ever told him to do that. It didn't happen in practice.
Right.
And Noel's like, in his brain he's going, I don't even know what he's talking about.
I don't know how to do this.
But he's the head coach. And so he said, Nate, when the head coach says, slow it down and run the ball, you slow it down and run the ball.
Right.
And so that's what he just did, but he didn't have nothing for it.
Well, simply just
We don't know how to line up in a huddle.
He waited, just waited to call the play.
You could do lightning, yep. You could waste time with that. We don't know how to huddle. Our kids didn't. We never huddled all season, so we didn't know how. And I would do that. There were games where we were up big, and we'd get away from our tempo a little bit, and the kids, they'd stand around. They're not sure what's going on. They figure it out eventually. But I think the most challenging, the website's incredible. There's so much football on there. The fact Nate added all the Oregon cut-ups. I mean, one of my guys is going crazy. He's like, Coach, I can break down every play Oregon ran last year. He's really excited about that. There's so much. You do have to do the digging, and then you have to find out how you're going to fit it for your program and your kids. And I think probably the biggest thing that we as high school coaches have to manage is this. This is limited. The more of it you have, the more of it you can do. The less of it you have, the less of it you can do.
So, Coach, this is going to be our first year running it, and we've always been a spread team. So, you as a head coach doing the same thing last year, I have a couple staple plays that we run. One of them is what we call power dash. It's the power read. I'm not sure if I'll keep doing speed option necessarily, but we do have like a quick pitch weak side plays to take them away from our traditional back coming across the face of the quarterback type of stuff. And then even some of the things I'm looking at too is, for example, Noel's Seattle. Our big play action play last year was Seattle, but a completely different pattern. just curious with things like our staple stuff that I already know our kids can do well, and we have a lot of kids coming back. And then things like with names that I'm getting from this now, how much did you literally change everything? Were there some things you kept?
We scrapped everything, and we were always pretty good. Our best run from the shotgun was, if the back is to the quarterback left, we were running guard and tackle, pull counter. We've averaged 6 yards a play on that play for years. I mean, that was a great play. Counter to the near side, gun back. But I didn't see how I could practice that. I mean, I'm looking at our practices. I didn't know how I could practice that and still practice this stuff. So we got rid of it. So we got rid of the best football play we had run for 10 years out of the shotgun. We chose to commit totally to those plays. We ran Zorro with the keys. We ran Shark. We ran Detroit, and Slip. I mean, I can just tell you that's what we committed to. If for everything you want to keep from your old offense, it's probably going to mean, well, you're doing less from this, and you got to figure out how that marries well for yourself. We chose to go all in with this, and it worked for our kids. It worked for our personnel. We hadn't been a spread in the past. We'd run, shotgun, 3 wide out stuff, but we hadn't truly spread it out. The hardest thing to do as a play caller is cut it down. As a high school coach, you got to cut it down, because I can show you, really long playlists. We weren't very good at anything. You got to get good at something. And to me, the thing about this package was how it fit together. I don't think that answers your question, but I think you're going to really have to look at what you're doing and see what works and what doesn't.
Junior varsity, freshman, did you go down farther than that?
Everybody's all in. We're a 9 through 12 school district, so and everybody always asks me that, Coach, your 8th graders don't run your package. The descending districts, they don't run your offense. My first year at Ramapo High School, we scored 407 points, went 12-0, and we changed the offense completely. So, yeah, would it help for the 7th and 8th grade team to be doing it? Yeah, it would. But if they don't, coach the hell out of them once you get them.
Coach,
Yeah.
did you run a lot of Chevron and Exxon?
We ran a ton of it, yeah. It was real good for us. I think it's, for me, it's a staple of the offense. In years past, we were a big smash team, and that was our go-to route. We kind of put smash on the backside, and we went with Chevron and Exxon, and they were real productive. You have make sure your quarterback understands his hot read principle, because if he doesn't, you're in trouble. As soon as people start with the pressure, he's got to get that ball out right now to that tailback on the swing. You guys run that already, or you just want to go over it?
Well, I looked at it on the website. A lot of them, they don't know about it, but
yeah, let me give you.
it's awesome.
Did you tag Exxon into the boundary quite a bit?
Yes, Exxon was a boundary play for us. So,
Okay.
so this is. We didn't get to this last night in the present. I don't know. Are we okay on time, Nate? Are we,
Yeah, we're fine, Coach.
you guys want to hear some Chevron and Exxon? We'll give it to you.
We're on championship time.
So good. Dual right, L chevron. Dual left, R chevron. That's the base way we put it in. Dual right, dual left was the formation. L and R is our protection. Chevron's our route combination. For us, chevron is a front side combination. On the back side, we can run something we call dagger, or we can call something called bend. And then on the front side, we can call poco, which turns the Y into a post route. But I'll get through those as the presentation goes along. But those are the base calls that we have with Chevron. I think it's better to get right to the diagram. So what are we going to do with Chevron? The one thing we are going to do is we're going to cut the Z's split down 4 to 6 yards. I went back and watched our film, and as the season progressed, our kids cut it down to 2-3 yards, probably too much. We need to keep our split 4 to 6. All right? Your Y is going to run a corner route. Your Z is going to run what we call a snag. He's aiming for the B gap at 6 yards deep. Again, we want to keep his angle a little deeper. I watched our kids. We started to flatten it a little too much. I want them to catch the ball at 6 yards, and their initial aiming point is 6 yards over the B gap. But this is the coaching point for him. As soon as the defender crosses your face on the snag route, that's where you want to sit down. You're aiming for this imaginary spot 6 to 8 yards in the B gap, 6 yards deep in the B gap. But as soon as that Sam linebacker crosses your face or you cross his face, that's where you want to sit. Your tailback has a hot swing, okay? It's a 5-step swing route, okay? It's turning upfield looking for the ball. His aiming point is the bottom of the number, the top edge of the numbers on the field swing, okay? So this is the chevron combination, corner, snag, swing. You know, people call it different things, but, you know, I'd say 80% of the teams in the country are running it. To the backside, we run what's called the dagger combination. The F has a grab route. He runs 5 yards down the field, 5-6 yards, and he turns around and looks at the quarterback. He's going to stay there until the quarterback looks at him. When the quarterback looks at him, he's going to break to the outside. It's a grab route. What is he trying to do? He's trying to grab the attention of the flat defender. If we go out and just run a bend or a quick out, well, he's out there, this guy's ignoring him, the quarterback's looking that way. He's, you know, we don't feel he grabs that attention enough of bringing that guy out. The X has a speed cut dig, we call it a shin at 12 yards. Against a one-high coverage, we're never throwing it back here. That's window dressing versus a one-high coverage. Okay, our quarterback's going to come out and he's going to look to throw the snag route. Okay, that's his first thought. As soon as the snag clears the Sam, we're going to throw him the ball. Okay, if the Sam doesn't let him clear and jumps all over him, okay, we're going to come off of that and go corner to swing. Okay, if your outside linebacker is covering the snag, you've got a high-low on the corner. If he runs, now out, we have space to throw the ball. We should get it in there. If the mic really matches up on the swing route, snag route consistently, we have a few other variations that we'll go to. But we need the Z to be able to get open against the mic. And again, that's why we sit him as soon as he gets inside the Sam. We don't keep coming and bend back out. We're going to sit him as soon as he gets inside the Sam. If the mic presses him and he doesn't get the ball, he continues to get width to the outside. So we never threw the corner route against one high because the corner's always got depth. It was either snag to swing off the Sam linebacker. That's really where it ends up most of the time against this coverage.
Coach, can you signal in dual right, left chevron, or L chevron?
Dual right, chevron, it's a gas station, so we got gas, and we're dagger. So they like that one. So it's dual right, chevron, dagger is how we signaled it in. The quarterback in this offense is responsible for calling the protections. Okay? That drive you nuts the first week. Okay? The quarterback is responsible for calling the protections. Now, we start in June. We don't have official spring practice, but in New Jersey, I think June 13th is the day you can start working with your kids, the last day of spring sports. So we do basically 2 practices a week from June until August. And, you know, we put this stuff in verbally first, and then we, then we teach them the signals relatively quickly after that.
Did you do any quarterback school with your quarterbacks?
Quarterback meetings, and most of our summer practice is 7-on-7 type stuff. So what does he know? So he knows that in dual, the protection's got to go away from the tailback. That's the rule. Okay? So the tailback lines up on the right. It's dual. The quarterback knows the protection's going to the left. Chevron is a gas station, which means the tailback is on a hot swing, which means the protection's going to be R or L. R or L means that it's a 5-man hot protection. If the mic is coming, I know Jack has a way of blocking it. Our guy didn't feel comfortable with that. He would handle those 2 guys if they were coming and leave him free. Our guy felt like he wanted to stay big on big. Our quarterback knew that he could get hit in the mouth if either one of those guys comes. He better get rid of the ball. Noel and Jack both have some ways that they can handle that. We don't vertical set. I know Jack Peavy loves that. So he could vertical set these 2 guys and basically keep your eyes on the mic. If the mic comes, we'd block the mic in the tackle. If the mic drops, now we'd block those 2 guys. That's Jack's method for doing it. I think it's real good. It's just how much new stuff could I get my offensive line coach to jump on right away. We'd been running hot principle in the past where we were going to leave an unblocked linebacker for the quarterback to be hot on, so it wasn't new concept for our kids. Okay, now, when you get to your two high coverages, okay, still snag, corner, and swing. We talk about the Mike being a defender key here now, okay? He's getting his vertical release. We're coming off of that thing. You know, he's going to jam that, and boom, we're open right in that snag hole right there. But if the Mike pushes really hard and fast on this, well, the tailback is over here, so the Mike may cheat a little bit. They start to fit this route up. The Mike comes over to get to the snag. We're going to go backside to the dagger combination. And here's where that grab route's important. The F gets down at 6 yards and sits. That Will's probably going to match him up. He's sitting there. That Will's going to go with that. So we say when the Mike covers the snag, we're hoping that the grab is, attracts the Will's attention, that we can hit the shin right in this lane right here. So against a too high coverage, this is a defender key for the quarterback. You're throwing the snag unless it's covered by the Mike. If the Mike covers the snag, you're going backside, dagger to grab, or shin to grab on the dagger. If the Mike settles in the middle, throw the snag. Who can cover the snag? The Sam. If the Sam covers the snag, we've got the high-low on the corner. So that's the chevron concept. You can't win because I got the chalk today. And this has been very effective for us. If there's any, if it's two-man, now you got that Mike trying to run out here. You got all sorts of pick stuff going on here. You could come backside, but you got some nice throws to the swing against two-man because there's just too many guys for that Mike to run through. So this is a nice one. So what happens? These guys start to match up chevron. That Y's running the corner, fellas. Whenever it's 3rd and 5, the Y's running the corner, all right? You can match up on him. We'll come down hard here on the swing. You'll cover that. We got these guys. The Mike will settle in the middle. We got them, okay? They do their homework too, right? So now we poco it, all right? And this is a call. It doesn't come in from the sidelines. Usually it's a quarterback and a Y, just connecting with each other. All right, right there is our little signal for the Y. All right, now the Y's going to get vertical. He's going to take that 2 steps out there toward the corner, and he's going to break back in on the post.
So he calls Poco.
He doesn't call Poco. This came in from me as dual right chevron dagger. They get up on the line. It's the 2nd quarter of the game. You know what? That guy's, I see him. He's over the top.
Yeah.
Hey, Logan. They get it and they communicate the Poco to each other. Okay, and I might say on a week-to-week basis, in the red zone especially, we're going to look to Poco these guys. So be ready. Be ready. Take a look out for that. The Y might come back, at halftime and say, Coach, he's really overplaying the corner route on chevron. We need to come back and Poco him later in the game. So that gets communicated from them, we didn't need it a lot because we ended up throwing the snag and swing more than anything. All right, this is a nice adjustment when they're playing you in 4 across. And what happens in 4 across, if we were to, if this guy were bailing in cover 2, we're going to be able to hit the dagger or the shin route underneath him. But if he's flat-footed in cover 4, he's hopping, this guy stops there, he's not vertical, he's sitting right in there in cover 4, and now, okay, Mike hit the snag, I just threw an interception to their guy, all right? So when we play teams that run cover 4, we may go bend on the backside. If we think that safety is going to be down, we're going to go bend, all right? And what bend means to us on the backside is now the F runs the bender, okay? He makes a move on that safety and tries to beat him to the post, and now the X runs the grab route. So the X is trying to get the attention of the Will, hold him, and now that covers 4 safety is flat-footed. We have a chance to beat him deep. The read doesn't change for the quarterback. We're still throwing chevron. But if the Mike matches up, boy, now I'm one-on-one with a backside bender, and there's no Mike running the hole now. This isn't Tampa 2, all right? He's jumping the snag. If it's Tampa 2, hey, that's fine. We're throwing the snag route here. But if he's down, matching up the snag and they're, doing that stuff, we have a chance to hit that bender for a touchdown.
Coach, so the poco and the bend is kind of what you're talking about as far as fixing the problem?
Fixing a problem,
Okay.
right. Poco, the kids fix the problem on poco. I usually fix the problem on bend, all right, because we kind of game plan that week to week. This week we're running chevron with bend. This week we're running chevron with dagger. The quarterback will know that going into the game. He'll ask, what are we running on the backside of chevron this week, coach? This week we're running bend, okay? And when in doubt, run the bend, because you don't want him to look back for, you don't want him to look for a dagger, expect it to be there, and have that safety be right in his mush. Okay, 0. They're bringing more guys than we can block, all right? Coach talked about it. He has trouble with this in the red zone. They're bringing that guy, all right? We tell our guy hot swing, okay? There's a mess of guys running into each other right here. Get the ball to the hot swing. You got a Y on a vertical release. You got a Z coming underneath to run his snag. That Mike is getting picked. Not that we pick him, but he's getting picked, and we're going to hit the hot swing.
Is he just taking the ball and just throwing it to the swing?
Catch and throw. Catch and throw.
Okay.
One of the drills we did in camp a lot and during the summer a lot was we had a 10-minute period when we'd start practice in the summer. The wide receivers are working their skills. Quarterbacks and running backs would be together throwing swings. And in Noel's package, at least the way we interpret it, we throw chevron to the field, and that's our 5-step swing route by the running back. We throw Exxon into the boundary, and that's our 3-step swing route. So we would get a 10-minute period at the beginning of practice with the quarterbacks and the running backs throwing swings. And we must have done that 8 to 10 times. It looks easy on paper. It's a hell of a lot easier on paper than it is in real life, okay? Especially the field swing route. You got to give them practice time. We lost that practice time a little bit during the season, but I think we got good enough at it in the summer that there was enough carryover. I'd love to have enough time to run that 10-minute swing drill once a week with my running backs and quarterbacks. We didn't find that time.
So, Coach, you use the gas signal for chevron. Do you use the same thing for Exxon?
Exxon was, I think, down here. Exxon was the X down there. And sometimes I don't know the signals because my quarterbacks and my receiver coach, and they all make, they figure out the signals. They know them better than I did. Fortunately.
Noel does chevrons 3, like, chevrons on an Army.
Oh, okay.
Army rank. So he's the first one to tell you, let your kids, and you figure it out.
And that was the thing that I'm sitting here a year ago in your guys' spot. How the hell are we going to figure out signals for all this stuff? I mean, how am I going to call these plays with signals? It works itself out with the kids. They're great at it. What are we going to call this? What about this, coach? No, anything, you can't grab your balls, you can't pretend you got tits, those types of things. I said, no, you can't do that. Keep it clean, but they eventually come up with something pretty good. Hot read, again, quarterback for us, get it out on his 3rd step. He's still going to take his drop, catch, 1, 2, 3, and we want him to go right to the swing. I would tell you that the snag does come open a lot against 0 coverage because of the picking action, and a few times he zipped it in right there for the snag route.
So when the quarterback reading is snag to swing?
Well, this is what I coach him. I say the tailback is reading. The tailback is looking at Mike to Sam. That's his duel. He still has a duel as he's running his swing route. We coach him to yell, hot, 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 if he gets a blitzer, and he should expect the ball. Quarterback, you should be looking here. If you get a blitzer, you're supposed to be going hot. He's a high school kid. He's got girls on his mind, all that stuff. It doesn't always happen that way. Okay, I think sometimes he threw the snag for a touchdown because he wasn't paying attention to the hot read. And his normal progression is snag, corner to swing. So he gets back there, 1, 2, 3, snag's open, he's throwing it, okay? And again, the nice thing about being wide in your splits is that edge blitzer doesn't get to you quite as soon. So we had the ability to get that. But if he's reading his key and doing what he's coached to do, it's 1, 2, 3, I've got that, I'm coming right out to the swing.
Did you have your line in a 2 or a 3-point stance?
Tackles are up, guards are down.
Okay. try and have those tackles back up a little bit? Or did you just?
We're off the ball in general.
Okay.
You know, we're off the ball in general, and we're, you know, my line coach and I are having the, you know, the vertical set discussion goes on and on and on. Whether we're going to get there or not, we'll see. You know, he's.
I think it works both ways, just for everybody. You can vertical set or you can slide, how they do it. I think whatever the O-line coach is comfortable with, keep it simple up front, because half the times we're zoning anyway and getting the ball out really fast.
Right.
So don't make it too complex.
The thing I wouldn't compromise are the line splits. You know, line coaches don't want to be far away either. You know, that generally. I wouldn't compromise on the line splits. But, you know, our guys, he's an outstanding teacher. He's a kick slide guy. That's what we did at Rambo. He's one of my former players. We were a kick slide team for many years. So that's his comfort level. He went to college and he was a kick slide guy in college. So, you know, he's teaching what he's most comfortable with. And we're pretty good with it. So to the right of the screen here, we're running chevron. Okay, it's chevron dagger. To the top of the screen is the dagger. We get an inside linebacker blitz here, you know, and again, if you're vertical setting like Jack Peavy does, and again, I think that's good stuff, that tackle would have his eyes on the Mike linebacker. When the Mike comes, he would come for the Mike, and we'd let this guy go. We're a man protection there, so we're letting the linebacker go. But as long as the quarterback, who's already 5 yards deep, gets 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, get the ball off. All right, some type of man coverage here. They get picked off. We're able to throw the ball underneath, and we get a pretty big play.
Too far over on this route?
The snag?
Yeah.
Well, the one thing we would tell him, he's supposed to sit as soon as he passes the Sam, but if he's looking in there and there's nobody there, we're going to keep running. We don't want to sit to get covered. Again, another Nolism. You know, run the grass. You know, take grass when it's there. Well, there's a whole lot of, on this one, there's a whole lot of grass in the middle of the field.
Once the Mike leaves, then he's vacated.
Right? Look, you know, this kid's looking inside right now, and he sees all that there. So, yeah, technically I've told him to sit as soon as he crosses that guy, but take grass overrides that. You got nothing in there. Run. Well, coach, how does the quarterback know if he's going to sit or not? Well, the quarterback's got a little brains in his head. You know, he can figure that out, that, boy, that looks good. I'm gonna stick it in there. You know, if your line, if they show this blitz, you know, 34 blitzes from depth, you know, one of the things we would coach with our guys is if 34 were walk up on the line of scrimmage, we'd count him as a down lineman, and we would block those 2 guys. We'd get that done. Quarterback takes a little bit of a shot, and he was a little slow getting the ball off, but we get the big gainer there. Here we're running it to the top or to the left of the screen. This is actually our backup quarterback in here. This was a blowout game early. You're going to sit, number 8 running the snag as soon as you pass that defender, so he sits in pretty good shape.
Do you want him to plant his toe in the ground and spin, just show hands to the quarterback? Is that kind of the idea in space?
Right there, I would like him to plant his left foot and get his eyes and chest to the quarterback. Okay. I'd like the quarterback to throw him open there. You know, there's no reason to, you know, that one didn't have to keep coming inside. I would have liked that quarterback to put that on this ear so he could have caught it and rolled away from the mic. Okay, here's an example of man coverage. I think it's man free. So our progression is throw the snag. Well, the snag's open. He could have gone there. It looks to me like he could have gotten the ball there. And we're knocking guys down, and his eyes are already off it. He was exceptionally talented. He had a great arm. He had a great feel for the game. He had trouble remembering progressions.
Oh, dagger looks open. Backside.
Right. But we never get there.
Because snag, swing.
If it's too high, let's count them up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's one high look. So we would tell him against one high, you're not going to look back at the dagger. That's our rule. So he's got to stay front side on this. The mic does vacate though. So I'm not sure why he didn't throw the ball to number 8 right there. Okay? I think we probably have a pretty good catch and run. He breaks the pocket. He got sacked 3 or 4 times in this game. They were bringing some pretty good pressure. But you talk about the whole pick action of the snag route there. 15 gets knocked down and throw it out there to the little tailback. One of the reasons we love this is, our tailback, I think I said was about 160 pounds. Okay, by free releasing him, we didn't have to worry about protection, and we didn't worry about him getting mismatched. That's not a great play by the quarterback, but it turns into something pretty good for us. Okay, he's got 0 coverage, and we're down in the red zone here. He's got his choice of almost anything he wants. And he throws the corner around. Yep. Right. What was your favorite route? What was your favorite route down in the red zone? I think that's one area I really want to get better. Like, I've struggled at times. Yeah. Like, once you get down there. We like Chevron a lot down here. Yep. We think Chevron's real good because of the picking action. That little 95 I showed, the backside, because our F was real good at that backside slant. We liked Exxon down in here. Was very good. In the tight red, I think Noel calls it chair. I think at one point he called it Indy, but number 1 and 2 both run the in route. 3 runs the corner over the top. That was pretty good. And X shack, because we talk about how things relate to each other. So we're running a lot of that 95 down here. So you guys are pretty good coaches. You watch us on film. You're telling this son of a gun, you better not get beat inside. They're going to run that double slant on you. You're practicing double slant in the red zone. So now we run X shack, where we just bring him up, run him to the corner. X has the shallow cross. Y has the basic. He can check and come here, and we'd run him there. And this was just a way for us to get this player, who's a pretty good player. He runs a lot of inside seams, so we thought this married up real well, just getting him the ball, on the goal line corner route, which, corner route on the goal line versus man coverage should be pretty difficult to defend. So, just like we hit the Y on Chevron, this was our real good player that we thought could be effective there. So the thing that helped us the most, Coach, the best thing we did this year, and we hadn't done it in the past, was that 20-minute Monday period, best on best. The first time we tried to throw fade stops down there, back shoulder fades, awful. Second week, still terrible. Didn't call them till late in the season, because it wasn't until late in the season we got good at them. But we're down there running slants. We're down there running our in route. We're down there running unders and corner routes. So that was a really good practice period for us that helped us get better in the red zone. But you can see this, by rule, he should have thrown the hot swing. He's got the blitzer coming off the edge. So if you're going to be, we didn't always go by rule though, and I can't blame him for this. I got matchup. I had no problem with that. You're the guy who's going to get hit in the face, not me. All right. If you hold it too long, you're the guy that's going to get ripped by that edge blitzer. So, we had a senior, and again, he's a very good player, 30 touchdowns.
Coach, going back to your shallow, what do you call that?
That would be X shack.
X shack.
Okay.
Shack.
Noel's terminology, shack is the shallow cross. He can shallow cross any of his receivers that he wants.
The F just knows he's got a corner.
And I screwed this up. The one, shack breaks the alignment rule of tailback going to the Y side. Okay. Generally, our base rule is tailback goes to Y unless the play takes you elsewhere. So if, normally we would run Zorro odd here. But if I called Zorro even out of dual, well, the tailback knows I don't run Zorro even from this side. I would have to come over there. We always, in the shack game, want to put the tailback to the shack side. Wherever the shallow is coming from, we put the tailback there because we want to draw linebackers out of that. So he would line up here. If it was, we run it two ways. We run it check and run to the flat, or we run them hot swing, either way. Down on the goal line, I would run it with him in protection, run it as ram protection, so it's check flat, and he would probably be picking up an edge blitzer.
So the F just knows he's running a corner on X shack and goal line.
Right. F shack is our number one way to run the shallow cross. So he would come here, and now he would have a fade, and he actually has a post on top of the basic whenever we run shack. Okay? If you're with the Y, you have a post in case they're playing quarters with the safety down hard. So the normal shack rule is if you're with the Y, he's got the basic, you've got the post, you've got the fade, you've got the shack. That's F shack, that's how we normally run it. Down on the goal line, red zone, we change the signal. Now we run X shack. So we told the F, well, where does the X go on shack? Well, he runs a fade, coach. Well, we're going to put you in the same spot and do it that way.
You got the Q is reading the whole player, like that would be the apex player between the Y and the tackle. And if he turns and runs with the dig and throws a shallow, he sits on that shallow, and you're looking at the dig over the basic over the top.
Right. On the goal line, on the red zone, we told them, red zone goal line, we use this basically to get the F on a corner route. We said take a look at that first before you go to your normal shack read. Okay? It was a way to get the F on a corner route. That's something that we liked in the red zone. His normal shallow reads are very different.
Because you're going to know right away by alignment how they're going to play.
Yes.
When you get down in the red
Right.
zone, the corner's up there pressing, they're playing man. You know right now, hey, let's go one-on-one with the corner.
Right.
Now they're playing zone to you more now. Hey, go to your progression, read your flat defender to the Y side, and play your high.
Exactly. If he got zero blitz, he was throwing to the F. If he didn't get a zero blitz, if he got some type of zone look, he's reading his shack. That's how we coached him. There's just another, it was, this team had trouble with it. Here they go blitzing the linebacker again. I'm not sure if he's blitzing or he's trying to cover the tailback, but they couldn't handle that combination in their man coverage. And there's one I'd like to show you it's a little different. You see, we ran it a lot in the red zone. Chevron, every time I'm pulling up a clip, we seem to be inside the 20. Here's what you got to be careful with the bend combination. We get two guys running into each other at the bottom of the screen, okay? Because the X is running the grab route, so he's trying to come in here and hold this. He's running the bender, the F, number 12. Well, there's a one high look, so he's running right up the hash and splitting that. Here was a little better example of maybe the quarterback throwing us open here. So I don't know I don't like the way our outside receiver, he's a little late when he sits. He could sit a little earlier. I'd like to see him on a little deeper angle also. I think we're a little flat there. But the quarterback, I think he feels this mic and he kind of puts it a little more on the back shoulder there. And our kid makes a nice play. You can travel motion these things, okay? This is bend to the back side. All right, so now we're just going to travel him out in motion. And the quarterback, he knew he had bend backside, and he said to me, Coach, I felt like the safety rolled over. I said, you're full of shit. The safety really doesn't move. He just wanted to throw a touchdown.
Oh, look at it, it's wide open.
We killed him on this. Right. Is there any reason not to? Right. Is there any reason not to throw the snag? Well, he said, Coach, I had the bender though. I knew I had him. And he stuck it in there. Hey, he stuck it in there. Okay. He said, well, the safety moved, and if you see him, the safety does take 3 steps on a travel motion, just enough. I don't know why he was. Now he's calling it. Right. He's calling the play himself, so he's telling me that safety moved. Oh boy, not a whole lot. He just. He saw that seam, and I want some of that, Coach. So here's how a mistake can end up right. And this 7 is the backup kid. So we're running chevron here. We're running bend to the backside. Well, he came off the field, told me, Coach, I thought the chevron was to the other side. But as you can see, it works out here. He throws the grab, which, okay, you know, we'll take it. So even your mess up sometimes can work if your concept is pretty good. Catches the ball, the bender. There's the hot swing. We had some pretty good for our competition. We had some pretty good players at the receiver spot. Nobody's a Division I guy, but we got 4 guys, actually 5 guys that would be good Division III football players. And
snag looks like he's just going to block and pick.
The snag is he's not the brightest bulb either. So I don't know what he's doing here.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows what he's doing. Although I think he screwed up whether I go over or under this kid. Right now, I think he's not sure. He's confused as to whether I go over the top or underneath. I would have told him, when in doubt, go underneath. That would be what I told him. All right, or when in doubt, block him, and we'll throw the swing route. But 1, 2, 3. I don't like anything there. Get the ball to the swing. It's good positive yardage. Here's one we solved the problem. This is a man coverage team. I hope this comes up. Oh, wow. That would stink. Oh, there we go. So this team was playing us a lot in man. We kind of came up with this at halftime. We went what we call spread, which is a way to get to empty. We put the tailback as the 3rd receiver strong in spread. So it's dual right spread, chevron bend. So these guys are running the bend. We told the tailback, well, where do you end up on chevron? Well, I end up on the numbers, Coach. I run a swing. Well, what can you do when you're out here? I said, well, run a key screen. So he runs the key, and then we get a confusion in the man coverage here. Oop. I was coming out. I was the first play of the second half against a team that played us pretty tough in the first half. We ended up scoring 50 points because absolutely. I like watching it.
You think as a defender, when you see that screen action, your first response is, I got to go stop that thing. And no matter, even though that guy's just standing there, it accomplishes so much.
Well, what do a lot of guys do in man coverage? We call it banjo. You inside out it. So my guess is there's a miscommunication here. The one guy thinks he's banjo and the other guy doesn't. You watch that deeper safety. I think he's expecting maybe to banjo that. The other guy sees it as a shallow cross route, which, hey, I'm not going to banjo unless they're on the same level. So we got guys on different levels, and they miscommunicated.
Safety just noses it.
Right. Even though they were playing the chevron when we were in that, they would banjo the dual alignment. And I think what happened when we put the tailback out there, instead of banjoing with the corner, now you're banjoing with a guy who hasn't been banjoing. So solved the problem. We figured that one out. So Exxon is now to the single receiver side for us. So now the snag route comes from here, the swing route comes from here. We put the Y on the snag, we put the F on the key or the bubble, and we confused this guy completely. We ran what we call the post option, meaning if you had 1 high, you ran a post. If you had 2 high, you ran a corner. If you had press, you ran a fade. I don't know if he ever got it by the end of the year. We got to come up with a more consistent backside route there. So
it'd just be could just be a take 2 and have them just kind of run the seam and try and take that free safety in the corner with them.
Right. The bottom line is he's never getting the ball from us. I've seen Noel throw the backside corner on this. He's not getting the ball with us. So snag rules apply for the X. All right. As soon as you cross someone's face, you're aiming for the B gap 6 yards deep. As soon as you cross somebody's face, you sit. All right? The T, you have your boundary swing here. It's a 3-step swing route into the boundary. Now, we tell the quarterback it's swing to snag, all right? Swing to snag. But you need to be aware of a press corner. And that's, you know, one time our quarterback threw it into a press corner and it wasn't good. So it's a swing to snag, all right? Back to a snag here. And really, there was a number of times that we could have gotten it all the way back here. The biggest problem we had with this play is I didn't call it enough. It was great for us. I should have used it a lot more because it was very, very effective for us. Against the too high look, here's where you have a little bit of concern, is that if that corner squats on your swing, that's your first route. You got to come off that, okay? Now you're looking for this snag. He's getting inside the will and he's sitting. You hope that that tailback widens the will a little bit so you can get it in there. If the mic were to continue over, you'd have a shot to this snag right here. Swing, snag, snag. This is what I mean about the post option on the backside. We told them if it's a cover 2 look, you're going to run that to get into that open hole. Good X's and O's, but got a little confusing for our kid. When you got press, turn the post option into a fade route. Okay, now hot swing. They're blitzing here. Okay, they're probably in man coverage. The X is running his snag. It should act as a pick on the will linebacker. Throw him the ball and let him run down the sideline. Okay.
If you got any issues though with like peel dogs, stuff like that? Because if we were bringing some kind of pressure like that, we'd always put like a, you know, like a peel rule to it. You know what I mean? So if the back is coming out, that guy peel off. So now he's thinking, hey, throw it. Oh shoot.
It's not there. So then come back to your snag. We would stay through progression. Right. We would stay through progression. And again, if it got empty, you know, if there was nobody in there, he might continue. If not, he's going to put his foot in the ground and then work to get open. We were having good success with this for a while. I don't know if you guys are all on huddle. For us, man, it's been a godsend. I mean, just the ability to do so many different things with it. So we got all our routes here, so let's see some X on. We go. Yeah, now I'm on their plug-in because it wasn't working on.
There you go.
This one at least, yeah, but this one's working on the bottom.
Yeah.
So maybe the teams that we play got to get better, obviously, and we don't, I'll be honest with you, up by us, not a lot of teams are running the spread, or certainly in the teams that we've played. But here you asked about, you know, there's no peel blitzer here, and they're sending pressure. This is trio right, X on, yeah. So 11 heads in, he sits, they blitz with no peel. One, two, three, quick, get him the ball. And that throw, yes, it's easy, but you better practice. Like I said, in the summer, we spent a lot of time throwing swings, and we dropped a lot in the summer, and you know, because your running backs don't catch enough. Right. You drop a lot in the summer. You know, sometimes it's only 1, 2, 3. This kid's only a sophomore for us. He's got pretty good technique. He's a very smart kid, and you can see he's kind of sitting down at the numbers there where he's supposed to be. We have another kid who almost ran out of bounds. In fact, did run out of bounds in the red zone here. He's running boundary swing, and instead of being 3-step, he runs about a 7-step swing and ends up running out of bounds on the 4-yard line. Yeah, he cost himself. Says
Back in the softball?
this is not a starter. He's going to be our starter next year.
So Coach, you get the progression now. You're looking back to the snag and back to the other snag. You work all the way back to the
Right, he could work all the way back. This is late in the game. This is our second, third string guys in there. But this kid was a senior who never played. Great kid. He should be holing up there. And then we got the bubble screen up here. So again, there's a free rusher, so we got to get the ball to the front side. This was a nice one. You want to protect your Exxon. You can see him giving a signal there. We're trying to protect the Exxon over here against the hard corner. So what we do is we motion the F, have him run up the sideline, and that kind of clears that off there. So you got cover 2. You want to protect it. Basically, it's a follow, and that for us is. So let's see. Yep. We call this one tripod left. So for us, and again, I don't know how Noel does this, but we put the Y as number 2 and the F as number 3, only because I'm motioning him across. I want to save him some steps. He's a two-way player for us. Why have him run all over the place? So the idea is, all right, I'm trying to run Exxon into a hard corner. All right, well, that guy's going to take the snag, and this guy's going to take the swing, so that's not real good. So motion him across, have him run a wheel down the sideline. Corner's rule is I got to run with number 2 on the wheel, so the corner's going to run with number 2 on the wheel, and now we are able to get ourselves a good snag route there. Now our kid at quarterback, Exxon's a gas station. We're hot on this right here, and this is a pretty good football player for them. Well, get him up in the air, do something, find a way to make a play. Here's St. Joe's Regional, pretty good team up by us. Okay, we had good success with the snag here. 26 wasn't as good at it as 8 was. A lot of things wrong there. You want the quarterback to put this ball in front of him. We don't want to make him spin backwards like that. That probably cost us some yards. And I don't like our snag route. It's not underneath. You're very welcome. My pleasure. You guys ever have any questions? Nate sends out my email. I'd be happy to share some stuff with you.
That'd be great, Coach. Thank you.
And Coach is looking at doing a thing at his high school on February 20th.
Okay.
Ramapo High School. That's tentative, but we'll lock it in and get it out. And then April 6th, we're looking at doing something at Widener University with Bobby.
Was a great screen for us. Second down and medium. It was a nice screen for us. We line up in trio, and we run the stick concept. That's a basic concept for us. We can attach draw to stick. We can attach screen to stick. So here, if it's a one-high look, our quarterback comes out, and the stick is covered by the mic. The mic walks out, so he's going to catch the ball. He's going to look at the screen. The stick. All right. Stick is covered. He's going to add 2 and come back and throw what we call Linda. It's a basic under screen. First man out is the kick out. Second guy out is the alley. What we try to do with the tailback, we tell him, you don't leave until the guard leaves. That's probably, I tell him it's like going out without your pants on, right? You can't leave till he gets out there, because if you beat the guard outside on screen, then you got no protection. So
you run that stick like a pivot? Is that the way you guys run it?
Yep, we're going to come down 6 yards, plant your outside foot, turn to the quarterback, catch the football. If somebody is coming to you, work yourself away from pressure.
Hey, Coach, on the routes, my question was and I don't know if this is just me, but on the field,
when you say 6 yards, like if you're on a yard line, like they can tell where the 6 yards are.
Yep.
So are your receivers counting steps?
We don't count steps. I've never been a step. I know. Yeah, I know. I've gone around with that. Yards, steps, yards, steps. We try to coach it at yards. What I can tell you is through repetition, we get it.
Okay.
You know, repetition, they figure out what 6 yards is for them. Because I always felt like steps was more difficult when you got a 6'4" kid and this, you know, you got a 5'8" kid. So we've gone yards. Can I say, you know, is 6 yards exactly 6 yards? 6 yards might be a little different for each kid, but that's I would say that's our target. But this under screen against zone coverage is excellent, because what's the will going to do when your kid looks here at the stick route? He's going to start moving, and now we've got a kick guy, we've got a wall guy, and for me, the under screen on a rundown is pretty good play for us. You know, same deal versus too high. Now you're really forced the Mike out of the box, right? Because now, well, if they're going to be in too deep, boy, he's going to have to cheat to that, and now you've really isolated this thing out here. We call 95 for these guys, and we call the screen back here, so the X, he knows he's got the deepest defender to his side of the field. And then if he gets blitz, okay, right away he's going to say pre-snap, if this is 0 blitz, that guy's on him right now. So, you know, we're not even going to bother to look in there because we know what we're getting. All right, he's got the deep defender versus man coverage. He's going to run him off, catch the ball and throw it to him. All right, or we're going to come in and throw the under screen. I don't like it as much versus 0 pressure. I mean, everybody says screen versus blitz, but for us it gets very messy. Yep. What we tell the tailback is you're going to hit the blitzer as hard as you can, okay, and get off him as fast as you can. So we're going to try to stone him with 2 hands, hit him really hard, and then throw him outside and roll underneath. All right. He's supposed to make a 0 call. 0-0 tells the guard, hey, I better be ready to kick a man cover guy right now. I talked about that alert call. We have it on everything. So he's got a man on and an outside blitzer, so he makes an alert call. Linda screen is Ron protection for these guys. They always know the screen is protection opposite, so we'll slide these 3 guys to try to take care of that, and that's how we do it. And it's been better for us against zone than against man coverages. And then once the base concept is in, you can dress it up however you want. You know, so this one's real nice. Now, for the linemen, it's still Linda. These guys know what they're doing on Linda. All right, we say dual right, F ghost, Linda Comet. He comes across. He knows he's got the Linda screen, so he's going to cross in front of the quarterback, sit on the guard and go. He's running his Comet screen, so quarterback will take the ball. If Mike sits, throw the Comet. If Mike runs out or we get rotation, then you're going to take a look at the Comet, get some depth, and throw the Linda screen. That one, again, against a zone coverage team, you know, we're here, we ride it, we look at it, we take 2. That's a real nice screen versus zone coverage because you get people moving. Same thing, we can run it, again, we just dress it up. We put him in the backfield instead of putting him in dual, and we can run him over the top. Just another, you know, just a little different formation look. And then this is the one we're excited about. We didn't get to this one last year. We like the concept though. One of Noel's big routes is something he calls caddy. It's the old Y, right, it's the Y cross route. So now run Y cross and attach the screen to Y cross.
Yeah.
We think that's going to be.
That's
what Drew mentioned.
That's a huge play.
Yeah.
Running caddy to the left, screen to the right, or caddy to the right. And
Well, what I like about the concept was, you know, because I've been doing a little bit of like run quick stuff where, you know, you pairing up the key stuff, and we need to get better. We get a bit better at blocking on the edges and stuff, but you saw kind of done some of that. But to marry up the screen game with some of the passing game is what I really.
That to me.
You know, I think it's going to help the passing game.
Right.
It goes back to, and that's why I'm kind of getting into this, and we were talking a little bit last night. But is to protect stuff and to get better at having those answers. And that's, you know, the stuff like this is what.
This is one
I love cross.
that we would, yeah, if you're a big Y cross guy, and again, so I'm playing you as a defensive coach and I know you like Y cross, well then I'm coaching the hell out of these linebackers to marry up on that cross. You know, hey, get depth, get a piece, don't let them over the top. Maybe you're running with them a little bit. You're saying, okay, when they're running Y cross, you know, Sam can handle the curl and the flat route. You really marry up on that, and that sets up your screen off it. So if you're a big Y cross guy, I think this would be a great combination for you to have. So we feel like we're going to get a whole lot of use out of Linda, and the linemen in the back are just learning Linda and whatever we pair it with on the outside. This one, we started running some of this stuff back in like 1985 when I was at Montclair State. My coach, actually 83, he went out to Cincinnati Bengals when Bill Walsh was there and those guys, and these were some of those West Coast concepts. So our Jayhawk is the basic read route in the West Coast offense. You can attach a screen to that. You know, Y's got the middle option, Z and X have curls or fades based on coverage. So now quarterback comes back, look to the middle option. All right, we're trying to come under the linebacker and get in the hole at 8 yards. If the will matches up with that, walls him off, doesn't let him in, okay, throw the screen. If the will drops to the curl and lets him in, throw the ball there. And then for us, you know, this is a concept we got a lot of mileage out of this year, this Jayhawk. Jayhawk is the route. So now you get a too high look, okay? We tell these guys, hey, you get a too high look, you're going to convert to fades. And yes, coach, they'd push outside. It's not mandatory outside release, but this is a lousy drawing. Yeah, this should be force it outside, then come in, okay? He's got the middle read, so now quarterback takes 3, throw the ball to the middle option. Well, why isn't it there? Well, it's not there probably because the will jammed it or the will's running underneath it. Boom, come down to your screenplay. So those are drop back concepts that are already in, and there's a screen that a base screen that we run, put them together. You know, we may not run, I don't know, we ran a ton of Jayhawk this year. We may not run it next year without tagging the screen to it, because why not? Why not tag the screen to it? We still got the route.
What was, and I forget, you might have missed it at the beginning, on the Linda, what's the count on the screen?
1,001, 1,002. It's a two count screen. Yep, 2 count screen.
What I loved about it though is when you run it with caddy, I'm telling my guy read option to cross, they gain depth, and throw the screen. So it's actually like we're running caddy. Yeah. And everybody's going through the right reads, and then we go that way.
Is that how you read that, Nate? You read it option to cross?
That's how we did.
Yep.
Yeah. So he just went through his first 2.
Yep.
Yeah. I just have him do his first 2, look, then get depth, and throw. Man, I love that play. Because the receivers, and sometimes we would throw caddy then. He'd throw the option.
Why not?
Nobody knows. So, because I hate it when on slow screens or screens like this where the receivers are just out there just because they are on screen, I'm not getting it.
Right.
So, but now it's
That's when you had mentioned that.
yeah, now everybody's running the route because you might get the ball on
right.
You might get the ball on the cross.
Yep.
So bust your butt across, and then you know, so to the defense it's like everything's for real. I like it.
Now, do you always run it with option, or do you run, with caddy, do you run it with smash? Like, because I've always ran it. I ran it both ways. I mean, I'll run it. We married it up just like just like Exxon, where you're going Exxon dagger, and so
right.
we go cross, smash, cross smash.
Okay.
So we're running,
right.
Or caddy smash, and so now we're running the smasher out because the way I got a lot of too high stuff, I was trying to pull that safety.
Right.
Trying to pull everything open to open up the cross. Where if we get one high, we're doing exactly like your option stuff.
What we do against too high, we run the caddy. We convert this to we call this a take 2 post, meaning if the 2 corner and safety are to your side or on the same level, you're going to run the post. Okay.
Still clearing it out.
So now that's how we call caddy.
Yeah.
So
you just keep it one. That way you just got it one way, and then
right.
They just got to convert. So there though, you want them to take 2 posts.
No, because the way I look at it is he's got the corner up and the safety back. So if you have If your guys are on a different level, you're going to run a fade. The only time, so if we get quarters,
Yeah, if you're getting quarters now.
then we're going to run the post. And again, it took me a while to understand this myself. If we get quarters, we're going to run the post. Because why, Coach? Because the corner and the safety are about the same level. If we get one high, well, the corner and the safety are on about the same level. All right? Whenever we get a press or a hard corner, that's when we're going to convert to a fade. All right.
Now, caddy, would you ever put act on a caddy?
Yes, we like that a lot. Yep. And we would hustle too. Hustle is our stretch play action. So, and it looks like shark. You know, we run all that shark stuff.
Yeah.
So now, what was good to us. We could hustle him, leak him there if we gets no pressure. And let's make sure I have this right. Yeah, he's got his grab and he's got his post curl. And that was pretty good for us. We ran a lot of 4 verticals out of this look too. And what would happen is we would run so much 4 vertical out of this look, out of our drop back game. You know, we saw one team that was, you know, really started cheating that free safety over, and we wanted to come back with Y cross because we felt like that was going to be, you know, a nice one for us, hitting the post right there, you know, as a way to get the ball to the post.
Now with your F, would you ever make it look like key 2 there? Since your play action in any way, if you got your T coming across.
We could, you know what, rather than confuse the kids, though, caddy for us was always a grab route, and he would just come out and sit, you know, sit and wait for eyes to come to you.
Now on hustle, the protection wise, how are y'all protect? Is it basically you treat it like R&L?
Hustle for us.
Or is the back going to abort if we get pressure?
Back's going to abort if he gets pressure. So hustle for us was protection opposite. So if it's hustle odd, it was Ron protection. Excuse me. Hustle odd equals Ram. It's a back has the dual. So it's 1, 2, 3. We're sliding this way, and we're dueling the back on hustle.
So you got the line going this way.
We got the line going that way on the stretch that way. Because we didn't want to leave this backside open.
That's what I was battling with, like, how do I want to fake that? I'm right with you. It's the same way we do our, you know, the act stuff, because you want it to look like inside zone, but when you wanted to stretch, it was kind of like, how did you want to, you got to give something up.
Right.
You either got to give up the fake of the flow with the lineman, you know, or you got to give up the protection part of it, which is more of an RL.
So we chose to make the zone line look more like zone, but the stretch, we wanted the backfield to look like stretch, and we didn't worry as much about the line, so we slid it the other way.
Yep.
And again, what I like about it is we've got a lot of variation with this is like that. You just have to know that this means that to our line, as opposed to putting new schemes in. And I think that gives you the multiplicity and the simplicity at the same time. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, we're a man slide. That's what. And I'm kind of doing the same thing that you're talking about. We were talking about your line guy. And I was talking to Nate about it too. And I was listening to Jack stuff and wanted to see more like vertical sets. You know, because we didn't. This is my first year. We did not man slide very well at all. Like the kids they didn't get the concept. And we played this one team that, you know, up front they were nowhere near as good as us. But they just vertical set it, and we never get to them. You know, they just did good enough, got the ball out. I was like, wow.
Hey, Jack's a great sell. I mean, he believes in it. He sells it well, and he teaches it well. The question is, I know my line coach just doesn't feel confident in teaching it yet. And until he gets there, I think we're going to stay with.
Well, and Noel's last 2 O-line coaches at Arizona State and UCLA have been slide man guys. So Noel's not telling, he's not going to make his O-line coach change.
Right.
So I kind of like it. You can run either other O-line techniques.
No, you can run either way. It's just that's
You know,
what
Noel told me
I-
yesterday, because I was talking to him about what you told me.
Yeah.
He goes, man, my quarterback's not getting rid of the ball. I mean, half the time our guys are barely getting it, barely blocking, because we're trying to take a ton of pressure off the offensive line.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just want to get the ball and get it out. And half the time we should be blocking Zorro or Shark anyway.
Yeah.
A run game technique.
Yep.
Because the ball's getting.
How about when you were getting out of man? What were you liking versus when you get man?
What were some of the kind of go, like when you're looking at
Zero pressure or man free?
more man free?
Man free shack would be one of our first go-tos.
And the other thing we saw, those guys hanging. And we had a 4-shell, too high kind of 4-shell, 4-1 box, but then they got those two backers, the outside backers, just kind of hanging in there. We weren't, it was my first year at the school, and the quarterback wasn't good enough to make quick decisions, get things out. But they're kind of playing, they're playing both. They got
Right.
those outside backers playing heavy inside. So as soon as you run the ball, bam.
I think you got to suck them out with the key game. You got to find a way to get them out. You got to make them expand with your key game.
Yeah.
Shallow cross was one of our big man beaters. We had a lot of success, and not as much with cover one, but Noel's dodge play was very good for us. We hadn't run it in the past, and this setup was good, partially because who our F was. So if we got a one high situation, if they were inside leverage man, we would probably end up coming to the F on that deep sail route, and we had a quarterback who could throw it pretty well, and we'd get the ball to him. If it was inside leverage man, we'd probably look to hit the Z on the drive. If it was, if we were getting man coverage. One free, I would tell the kid, take the post, depending on where the free is, pre-snap the free safety. I don't know what you're seeing in one free. What teams are starting to do to us in one free is play the corners inside leverage, and then the the inside receivers with outside leverage.
Outside leverage because they got back, they
right.
got 3 backers inside, your safety inside, so funnel them to where they're going.
Years ago, everybody used to play everybody outside leverage, trying to funnel even the outside guys into the free. But now guys are, inside leverage on those wide receivers, and so that, that takes away the post route there on the dodge play, and now you got outside leverage on the F, so you should have the sail gone, but they're going to have trouble with the drive route there because you got a little pick situation between the Y and the Z, and just run him across, wait till he clears the rat in the middle, and try to hit him with the ball late.
Coach, how much then, I missed it, but how much Rosenlinda and Rocket Laser did you run?
We ran more Rose and Linda than Rocket and Laser. One of my goals is to get better at Rocket and Laser, and I think from just a play calling perspective, against zone coverage, I want to throw Rose and Linda. Against pressure, I want to throw Rocket and Laser.
Yeah. Which one's the Rocket and Laser?
So his Rocket and Laser is, you almost call it the over screen.
Kind of like, is that the one that's kind of like Comet, or is it?
Yeah, that's the one that's more like the Comet. Coach, thank you. My pleasure.
Oh, I got you, yeah.
To me, this is a better man screen because you're cracking, so if I'm getting man blitz, these are the kind of screens I want to be in. Number one, I'm not getting the tailback caught up in here. He's got no protection. I'm cracking the guy who's covering him. The timing issue for us is timing his release up with the tackle who's just trying to set and throw, okay? So we take a little inside step with him before we get him out on the swing.
With the timing of it.
Yep. Because if he goes right now, he outruns your tackle. you know, so we take a little bit of an inside step.
How are you coaching up the attack on the guard there? What are they? Now is it a one set? Are they setting quick and then going?
Quick set and throw. We want to throw him outside. We want to get inside of him. So it's a quick set right on the line of scrimmage with your inside foot up, inviting that outside rush, get hands on, and roll out with him.
Did you ever kind of
club him?
Well,
sometimes our guy set and club.
Like, sometimes people like Zorro odd that. You know what I mean? With the
We had a lot of trouble with. We ran this play with him on the Zorro fake and him running the rocket. Okay, that's how I watched Noel's tape, and we just couldn't make that go. That was just not, you know, we just didn't have success with it. We actually hit a 60-yard touchdown with it in our first scrimmage, and that was the only positive play we had on it, you know, all year. So we're going to try to go more with the rocket and the snag concept backside, or the Rex Lex screen backside.
And now, which one's the? Okay, so I'm gonna. What's the Rex? Which one's the Rex?
Yep, that's the wide receiver screen. So boom. Let's see. We get through here. You know, here was the deal. You mentioned peel blitzers, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. So if we run this and he's taking 3 steps and that guy peels, boom, come back and throw that.
Again, I go back to that's what I'm really liking, that, you know, the combos. You know,
yeah.
You gotta. I mean, I think you gotta spend extra time with your quarterback though. Quarterbacks will get those, you know, because that's the guy. Everybody else, shoot, it's just the same stuff running. I like it. So let's do it.
You know, we're thinking about, this is one we have as a potential one. We're going to run it away from trips. Syracuse killed West Virginia in the Pinstripe Bowl, running the screen away from trips to the single receiver side. I don't know whether they're getting blitz or just getting coverage, but you know, come in here, crack the linebacker, kick the corner. You got a wall guy. You know, if they're playing your trio or your tripod. To me, this looks like a pretty good play. We didn't run it this way this year, and that's what, you know, these are some of the things we've researched and that we'd like to run next year. Again, if that bandit peels off on the blitz, I've got a snag concept backside that I can still throw. This is more like what we did this year, and again, we had limited success with it. You can run the Zorro away and throw the rocket to the F. We ran it out of green. This is what we did it on. So this is just another way to protect it.
I like that, the motion, and then you're trying to carry it out.
Right.
That's the same thing. That was what you're doing with the
Exxon. Yeah, it was the same thing. So it's something we have an option to do. And then I don't know if we run this one exactly like Noel does, but now combining it with the receiver screen. So, you know, here's your rocket screen here, and again, then you have your wide receiver tunnel screen to the backside.
And what are we doing on your tunnel? I mean, are you catching it and getting yourself back up vertical? Is he trying to get across? I mean, where, or is it just kind of a feel for him?
We've run tunnel for a long time, and we're trying to get back inside the guard kick-out block. This is the key block into play. You got to push crack to get outside, and getting him to come back to the ball, catch the ball here, so that this guy comes vertical and you get that kick-out block. That's the block that either makes or breaks the play. I know guys are sending the tackle out on tunnel, but my feeling is if I'm going to read rocket here first, I'm not comfortable with letting that athlete run free. I don't mind letting this nose guard run free. That doesn't scare me as much. But letting a defensive end run free at my quarterback who's looking the other way first just doesn't appeal to me. So, you know, we're going to tell our guy, 1, 2, 3, throw the rocket. If you get a peeler, turn back and zip the tunnel. And he's probably got to here's where you've got to drill this with this rusher so the quarterback finds the lane to the tunnel screen. We would tell him to move. We ran tunnel screen for a long time off of our zone play. We'd line the tailback up here, run them across, and run the tunnel out there. That was a very good play for us for many years. We got away from it last year when we went to the end zone stuff. I don't think Noel's been a big Rex and Lex guy for the last few years.
Yeah, that seems like
Yeah, and so we got away from, we didn't put it in, and
So did you guys run this much this year, or is this kind of what you're doing?
this is where we're headed next year. Yep. We're gonna get rid of the rocket the way we ran it last year and try to run it more with a snag to the backside, or a snag concept away from the rocket wherever we're throwing it, and get away from that change of direction play. We like that better. Rose and Linda was better for us.
So with rocket, you're gonna put a snag concept.
Going to put a snag concept backside and have the play side running back run the rocket screen and a snag concept to the backside. That's how we're gonna go to it this year. And next year I can come back and tell you if that worked. But we got away from our tunnel, which was a good play for us for years. Very productive screen. I think this is going to be a very good red zone play for us, and I like it against pressure. I think the wide receiver screens and the over-the-top screen, where he's running the swing, are better screens against pressure man blitz. Yeah. Like you said, you force the other team to do what? Peel. Well, if you peel, now I'm going to go to my backside.
Yeah. Oh, how was Detroit for you guys? I mean, because I like it, but I'm was curious how it played out for you at the high school level, how it ran. Obviously, you watch Noel doing it and all that stuff. It looks great, but
It's interesting. He runs Detroit sometimes with the keys, and I think we learned it off of 95, and that was the main way we ran it. But I see some reason for running it off of keys at times. It was pretty good for us. Now here's something that
now I think from listening, so you guys ran out 2x2 because
he's always a 3x1. Here's my rule. I don't run quarterback draw to the playoffs because I don't want to get my quarterback killed. But we put quarterback Detroit in at the end of the season. Here we ran 99 as the route. So there's the F. He ran a bend. He ran the quick out. He ran the fade. We had double slant, and we traveled him out. The idea was we wanted to get the linebackers out and run quarterback draw back here. Get the linebackers to move. The linebackers didn't move, so the quarterback threw the front side 99 on this one. But the idea was to run quarterback draw. Try to get some. Here was an example of the quarterback Detroit off of Chevron, and if you're going to be a big Chevron team, I think this is a great play to have. You motion the tailback out. You can watch their linebacker. You watch this kid. Our quarterback's about 2 yards down the field, and he's still matching up on the snag route. But he's going to take it. He's going to look at the snag, and then the draw timed up pretty good. He looks at the snag, and then he runs the draw up in there, and I think that was on third and 12, third and 13. So we motion him out. Yeah. They're in I think I was expecting a 6-man box. We only got a 5, which is an advantage, but we were looking for him to run out and match up the snag. These two guys would double here to number 41, and we're wrapping him around for him. The quarterback looked at the snag. That guy was gone, and that was a big play for us.
Yeah. It was so in Detroit, you get the odd front, you doubling down, pulling the backside.
Yes,
you just did Q draw there.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you put Q draw for the playoffs. How about if you get out of odds? What about, you know, the one thing I always struggle with in the draw game sometimes is pressures. You know?
We end up, all of our draws are off a 3-step drop. So if you give us pressure, we're throwing the football. Here's a rule that,
For instance, you're going to throw the ball, but like, let's say, so like right there, you know, you get pressure off the edge there to your right. How you, I mean, are they taking it? Or, I mean, what's your line? How's your line adjusted to it?
on this play, because it's quarterback Detroit, we might get, see, it's Detroit odd, which is, Detroit even, which is Lion protection. So if they brought pressure off here, we would have to get rid of the ball hot. We'd have to throw that ball.
I guess.
You know, this was, I was expecting a 6-man box, and what we were trying to do, you think of Detroit, if you have 5 linemen to block it, if you're going to hand the ball off on the draw and you get a 6-man box, you're 1 short. You can either read out the route, or we try to motion him out to empty the box to 5. But you see, you get great, you get really good, you get a real nice double team here, you get a guy coming around, and again, that's the guy we're doubling to him, we've gotten him out of the box. I got some regular Detroits in here though.
I like them, that's fine.
I didn't put this in there, that's our JV guys. So here's Detroit, and the way we coach it is it's stick to draw, unless in a 2-high situation it's stick to draw. In a 1-high situation, it's still stick to draw, but if they've got a guy on the stick, we tell them, don't bother, he's covered. We read it slant to draw. So now, you watch our quarterback, he goes right to the slant on the backside, and then he hands the ball off. We get number 50, the inside linebacker, playing the slant, and our guard doesn't know who to block because...
So say that one again. That one.
Yeah, that one's...
So I got the stick part, so now you're saying you get...
This is, here's... I had this as I should show you this. You got a few minutes, Coach? You still with me?
You talking about me?
Yeah, you or Nate? Is that we good?
I'm with you, man.
All right, I'm going to show you this because it took me a while to wrap my head around this concept as well. All right, Detroit 95 is a 2-high play. If you get too high, this guy's screwed. He's got to walk out of the box. Yeah. Now you've got him out, so you've got 5-on-5, hand the ball off. That one's easy. We think that one's easy, sure. Okay? The one thing we learned is, what if they're not going to walk him all the way out on him, if they're going to play him inside? Well, then we might run trio right, Detroit odd, key 2, and we could run the key screen on him. That's something we learned, going back and watching ourselves, because teams will sometimes do that. They'll try to play too high, but try to keep this guy right on top of him to keep that Mike in the box. So we could combine Detroit with key 2, or if they're going to apex the sand between the 2 and 3 receivers, we're good with 95. This one's easy.
Love this one.
Versus the under front, it's still easy. It's still cover 2. Again, run against cover 2 is easy. Now, here's where things get dicey. They're going to play a 1-high look on us. They're going to play a cover 3 zone. So now, what we tell our quarterback is, if it's 1-high and there's a man on your stick, you don't have a clear lane to your stick, okay, don't bother looking here. Okay? What we tell him now is, we're going to read this slant to draw. And you're going to make a 1-high call, which tells our puller you're going to go to the second linebacker, not the first linebacker. So now, pre-snap, he's gone. Don't bother with the stick, it's covered. 1-high tells the guard to come here, and now the read is the will. We're going to throw the slant. Well, Will's going to drop and cover the slant. If it's zone, then we're going to hand off the draw. So that's how we solve the problem of 1-high. Because if you look here and then hand the draw and say he's covered and hand the draw off, we feel like you've got 2 guys to play the draw. We feel like you've done nothing to really make him go to the slant. But here, if you look at that slant, that guy should get some pretty good depth. You can fold on the mic because the mic's not going to open. He's going to, he's going to play your eyes and probably settle in here. Fold on the mic, and we'll take our chances with the tailback off the will. So now stick draw has become slant draw.
Yeah.
Well, what happens?
Did you already go to the footwork of the line? If you did, I'm fine with it. Do they just really just do 2 steps, show hands, and it's up to the back?
And then run. Yep.
The back's got to find that crease.
He's got to find the crease.
Okay.
And with the one technique, we tell the guard aggressive.
Oh.
You aggressively block him.
Okay.
Because we're folding the center around.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, what's nice about it is like when you fold a guy, it's looking like your slide. Your guard's coming down on
Right.
it. Where in the past where I've done draws when I haven't folded. I mean, now you got the center and the nose. You got the center and the guard right now on the nose. We're not really getting any drop out of the mark.
Right.
Now because now you got to set your center back just a little bit.
Right.
Get that back action.
He's going to set and fold around.
Yep.
That's great.
And it looks more like pass.
Now, what we teach the back is on Detroit is this is your blitz key. If we get blitz, you block protection. We're throwing the slant.
And is he just sliding over and?
He just slides over, makes the handoff pocket, waits for the ball.
Okay.
Be patient. They always overrun the ball.
Yeah.
So stick draw just turned into slant draw in this situation. It's cover 2, so we know we can run the play well against cover 2. He's out on the stick. We double to the mic. We come around for the will, and now, because it's too high, we stay stick to draw, and we feel like we got a pretty good run there. Cover 3 draws. It's not as good a play, or it's a different play versus cover 3. I won't say it's not as good, but now. Shut down on me.
You can see where you only need like Detroit, Shark, Zorro, Slip, and then the keys, the locks. I mean, even Exxon Chevron. You got to find out what your quarterback throws, what he throws best.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you do during summer for 7-on-7. See what everybody's clicking on.
Right. And again, things we found the quarterback had to make a 1-high or a 2-high call. And he has to make that call because in 1-high, he's got the second linebacker because we're reading the outside linebacker for slant. In 2-high, then he's got that first linebacker to that side because we're looking at the stick side and the mic. So we would tell the quarterback pre-snap, take a look at Y. Coach, Y's covered, so I'm not going to bother looking there. It's 1-high and Y's covered. I got to go slant to draw. And if you can, your eyes should get him to get some depth. You got a pretty good double team to that and hitting it up in there. So let's see if we. And so this is the one we already saw. I mean, you watch the tailback. He's just going to slide, and boom, ball goes right down to him. Because that was 1-high. Because there was somebody out on the Y, he read it to slant to draw.
But he's handing off because the backer flew out.
Because the backer flew, so he's looking at the slant. That backer's running on a slant.
That is so easy.
Here's another 1-high look. This time that quarterback didn't even look. He just decided I was going to hand the draw off. And the slant decided to run a fade because he had inside press. But what I wanted to show the guys on this one is, you get a little twist here. Those guys handle the twist. The center should be up for that. What we would say to the center is, with 1-high, you have the second linebacker. So the center should have been on this. We should have had a slant in here to control that linebacker. But number one, our slant decided he couldn't beat press, and he changed to a fade on his own, having never been coached to do that before. Amazing that a young man would do that. And our quarterback seeing that, I would rather have him go ahead and throw the fade here. You know, go ahead and throw the fade. You had press man.
Take a shot.
Right. He hands it off, and
You run that one back.
we beat the linebacker one-on-one. Sideline?
Yeah.
You know, I would tell him, again, he's saying the Y's gone pre-snap, coach, because you told me when I have one high and the Y's gone, we're not going there. You told me now I should go slant to draw. I should throw the slant unless this guy covers it, and then I should hand the ball off. Now, I would say right now, hey, on the fly, this guy, instead of running a slant, convert it to a fade, so go ahead and throw the fade. So we have an unblocked linebacker, and our kid makes a miss. It's nice when they can help us out.
Yeah, but by getting that set, you're able to at least, you know, you get that backer. I mean, that's the first thing is just to get those backers to drop. You give them the drop, now you're just getting more space, and now you got your back.
Now your back can make a move.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I mean, back's got to be able to make guys miss.
So here was a big, these guys were a big blitzing team. I'm pretty sure 44 is going to blitz here, and it's a one high look. So he decides to come to his slant route. I'm sorry, that was a two high look. I don't know why he didn't throw the stick there. Looks to me like 6 is open pre-snap. I think it's a too high look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our film guy could have done a better job here.
Now, when you film, do you not like getting more the
I want bigger than this. This is one of the toughest places that we film from because they're very far back. And I think this might have been a substitute camera guy because generally our film is, we get a lot more than this. You know, I would like to have the whole secondary in the film. Yeah.
Like when I film, but then I get some film from guys, and it's like this when you sit there. I'm like, how are you
I
supposed
just
to
go, really?
Right. And we take it and
Out of the box, and that's it.
and we take a tight copy, so we didn't, you know, we don't need this with a tight copy. But this was supposed to be Detroit, but he got a blitzer, and he's stepping up to take the blitzer, and we have enough space to throw the slant in. That was like
Your stick, are you having him just run straight out 6 yards?
6 yards and turn around.
So you're not having him even angle in, just go straight?
Well, depends on where that guy is.
Replace, if the guy blitzes, or you can replace that, like you said, run the grass.
Yep.
Stick it. So that's, yeah, that makes sense.
So do I have a two high? I guess I don't have. I guess I have a one high look. I don't see any safety on this hash. So he is doing the right thing. We've told him, all right, if there's, you know, if it's a one high look, you're coming backside. And, you know, he gets the blitz. There's enough space in there. He sticks it in. That was a big conversion in the game for us.
Great throw and catch.
Same game. This is probably 2nd and 1,000.
Wow.
And he throws the slant on in the, you know, single receiver side slant. Now this one, he does have a safety over here, so I'm not sure why he throws it. 1, 2, 3 down, 2 inside backers. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, maybe the stick was covered and he made that decision. I think if he had handed the ball off on the draw here, and again, we don't go with Noel. I'm not going to kill him on this. He, you know, he's got that, but boy, that draw might have busted. Yeah, I know. Hey, and you know, he just threw an 8-yard completion, but we probably would have wanted to throw the draw on that.
You guys had monster numbers this year.
Yeah.
You had numbers like that before?
No, I threw 50 passes in a game though. I've never thrown 50 passes in a game. You know, we threw 36. You know, 36 was I think our previous school record of passes in a game. Okay. We threw 50 this year. You know.
And 65% completion rate.
65%. And some of that's the key screen stuff, but you know what? Hey, it's money.
Did you like starting the game off with like the Zorro and the keys? Because those are easy throws for your quarterback to
yes.
kind of get him some confidence.
It definitely makes a difference. Get him some confidence. So Here's another one where I think he's getting an edge blitzer. So 5 is, you know, I could see his helmet stripe. He's looking at his edge blitzer. So I can't run the draw now, coach. And boom, we got an open slant route.
So would you like do your 4 verticals kind of early in the game too to back everybody off? Scare the daylights out of them?
No, probably not too often. And we liked 4 verticals a lot, but I can't say we ran it a lot early.
Okay.
Not in the first couple plays.
Right.
Unless they're pressing, you know, unless they're telling me they need it. You know, one game we ran it the second play because they came out and they, you know, wasn't on the script, but they all of a sudden decided, you know, the best way to beat us was go man, you know, man to man and get everybody pressing. So we ran 4 verticals on the second play. So here's an example of he saw nobody on the stick and boom, throws it right there.
Great job.
And the same game, he comes back different Y because they rotated by series. Again, coach, you told me if the stick's open, throw it. So that was stick draw and that kind of stuff. It was amazing how many easy ones we got. Here's the 4 down, cover 2 look. To me, I would say he's walked out of the box on the stick route. So I'm thinking draw here as a coach, but coach, I could get it in. All right, well, you got it in. Would the draw have been good?
You did a pretty good job of sorting that out.
Might have.
Run that one.
And this is without, you know, this is our setting, you know, without vertical setting, we're doing this. And again, I like Jack's stuff, and he, you know, if he was my line coach, we'd be vertical setting. My line coach does a great job. Nick Gattuso is an outstanding offensive line coach, but he's a kick slide guy, and that's what we do. And it just goes to show there's 2 ways to.
Did a good job of trading that off.
Yeah.
Really good job.
Yeah, the center and the tackle trade that off. That's
Both sides. I picked it up. Right there.
here 78's about 315, 320. We can't double up there, which the guys want that space eater nose.
Yeah.
But what did we get? The quarterback didn't like this, so he went slant to draw, and I guess he went stick to draw. He didn't go slant to draw. He's got too high, so there was nobody on the stick originally, so he uses his eyes to get the linebacker on the stick.
So now on that one, how did they come back to blocking? You can go back to that one.
Yeah.
How did they go back to the lineman? Because you're getting a too high look right here, right?
Right. We're getting a too high look. So what should happen?
Line look. You think? Wouldn't you get a pull of the strong backer? Or that strong step backer?
What I would, I'll show you on the. In a too high look, the guard should be going to the first linebacker. So we should be doubling to 34. He's the stick backer. He's the one that we're reading stick on. We should be doubling to 34, and he should be pulling around to him. Remember I told you that we identified 2 high and 1 high for the guards? This was week 1. We weren't doing that at that time. It wasn't until we figured that out late in the season that that's something we have to do. So, you know, I think we fixed the problem as the season went on. Now with this particular situation, we couldn't, they didn't feel comfortable about getting off on 34 either. But they should have been off on 34. He should have had 39, and maybe we bust that even further. We get 3 down. Again, everybody's playing 3 down. Years ago, nobody played 3 down against us. Now we're seeing a lot of 3 down. We went spread and everybody. I got to show you one more we're proud of about. We talk about reading, reading sticks and throwing other things. Talked about that screen game. What else? I got to get Detroit off here. So this was our Rose and Linda off of 95.
Awesome.
And so here it's 2nd and 8. He's got Rose 95 called. We're looking at that Y. You know, we're wondering about this over here. He gets a blitzer. The blitzer comes. He says, 95's open. Throw it.
That's just as good as caddy. I would run 95 rows. That's just as good as doing like caddy.
Right. Well, here's what we're thinking. We want to have a screen at a duel as well. It's always trio. It's trio, and we'll run it trio 95, and we'll run it caddy at a duel.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, you'll like that.
And again, would the screen have been good? Yeah, probably, but the kid's reading his progression. And
Which is what you want to do on caddy, too.
absolutely. Read your progression. Come back with it again on 1st and 10. I always like this on 1st and 10. And we actually thundered this. We ran it twice in a row because we come back and I wanted the screen real bad because they were rolling the coverage to the field. So I really wanted to throw, a screen down here to the boundary. But again, Coach, you told me if Y's open, get him the ball, and the kid gets him the ball.
We've also done, I don't know how you would call it, but put the back on the other side to the trio side, bring him across like on Zorro, and then he goes right into Linda.
Right into Linda.
So
That's
we're
good.
looking 95, but it's just a different look for the backers, bringing him across.
So we run it the second play, and there we finally get what we were looking for.
Block. There you go.
And so all this combo stuff, I mean, and I look at it this way. Our quarterback was a first-year guy in this system, and he's a great thrower, great playmaker, but he's not the smartest guy we've ever had. And we have some real smart kids that play quarterback. That wasn't his forte. And if he learned this stuff in a year and was able to execute this, what's it going to be like when our freshman, kid who's got D1 potential and a Harvard brain gets there? I mean that.
Well, and you said you had good receivers, so.
Yeah, we've been pretty blessed as far as that goes. So another combination. I got 95 here. I got Linda over there.
And that's what helps with being able to keep your play numbers down too, though. Because
Exactly.
you've got so many combinations off. It'd be one thing saying, "Oh yeah, hey, I got 28 plays," but it's just there's just only one way to do it.
Same
With
concept out of different motion
Right.
this, the combinations.
Yep. And the thing I got from Noel, and I didn't used to do this, I would say, well, we got zone out of, 8 different formations, so that's one play. And I'd try to count that. I tried to get his count away at one play. And no, it's not. It's 8 different plays. And, I think, getting to that mentality and trying to keep it at 28 plays really does make your offense teachable.
Yeah.
We look at it, we have 2 days in full pads. We run 24 plays in team. So now you're talking about 48 plays that we're going to get. Well, 48 offensive plays in 2 days a team. If you're on 24 a day, 48 plays, all right, and you got to run everything right and left. In 2 days, you're not getting everything you have done. And that 28 plays includes some goal line stuff and some specials. And some of your drop back concepts you may only run in Skelly. You may not run them right and left. But you just don't have a lot of time to practice things.
You go 28 straight up. I mean, you don't have any other not specialty plays per se, but goal line plays or.
Yeah, hey, I try not to count the bone plays. Yeah, I don't count quarterback sneak as a play. We practice it.
You got your trick plays? Did you put any trick, like a reverse or anything in?
No, we had one trick play and it didn't work. We ran rocket double pass. We threw the rocket and then tried to have him throw deep, and it didn't score for us. We practiced it for 5-6 weeks before we ran it in the game.
Quarterback sneak was kind of a trick.
Yeah, that was one trick play. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the final, we had quarterback sneak formation. If the look was good, we were going to thunder it and lightning it and call toss off of it. If we got everybody bunched in, just because we have so tendency heavy. Ramapo's under center, it's quarterback sneak.
When you were losing at halftime, so what were you thinking, and what was kind of the whole thing in the locker room at halftime?
We lost our poise during the second quarter of the game. Our center snapped 3 over the punter's head, set up a lot of points. The main thing was letting our guys know that we weren't out of the game, to keep your poise. We were getting the ball at halftime. All All we were concerned about was scoring the first time we had the ball.
Right.
If we score the first time we have the ball, we have an opportunity to get ourselves back in the game.
Adjustments at all at halftime?
None at all.
Okay.
None at all. They were
Just execute.
They were giving us everything we wanted. Trio right, Zorro odd, key 2. We ran that play 10 times in the second half and threw the key screens for 5, for 7, for 6, for 5, for 8, handed off for 25. We just needed to get back to what we do. And the first drive we were able to do that. We were able to come right down the field and score. And they did move the ball on us, attempted a field goal, but fortunately missed. And the second drive, the offense picked up where it left off, and after that, we weren't stopped the rest of the game. So I think it was just the tempo allows us to play fast, allows us to get on a roll, and once we get on a roll, things just really came together for us.
Halftime was pretty, everybody was just settling everybody down,
Yeah.
saying, this is what we got to do.
The kids were losing their mind. The kids,
Yeah.
the kids, one kid came up, I can't believe, Coach, we worked so hard, what's going on? I can't believe this is happening to us. I'm like, what's happening to us? We're in a football game. Relax. You got a whole nother half to play. Nothing's happened to us other than we're down.
Right.
You just got to keep playing and keep your poise in those situations. And that was the thing we had to do as coaches. Nobody needed to go in and yell at those guys or get on them. We just needed to say, hey, we're still in the game. We just got to come out and do what we know we're capable of doing in the second half. And again, the tempo of the offense, though, it got close quickly. Rather than us still being down in the middle of the fourth quarter trying to drive our way back in, it was boom, boom, boom. Okay, now we're right back to where we need to be, and now we're playing in a ball game.
That's great. Coach, thanks, man. We got to lock it down because I know that fella needs to get that equipment. But let's give Coach Gibbs a hand. All right.